Chapter 1018, The Great Cosmic Catastrophe. Subscribe please. This is a catastrophe. Sir the novel, F. Iyer. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lin Yuan quietly felt the terrifying waves surging toward him like a tide. The feud between the two Chaos Great Saints had caused this universe to step early into demise. If not for Lin Yuan, the number of survivors among humanity's civilization might not even reach 1 in a million. But it wasn't limited to Lin Yuan's home universe. Along the path of battle between the 9 Phoenix Great Saint and the Shadow Demon Great Saint, countless universes had prematurely fallen into ruin. To the living beings within these universes, including 12th layer extremes, this was undoubtedly a calamity, an unstoppable disaster that could only be endured passively. Such was the power of the Chaos Great Saints, apex existences of the Chaos Void, whose every action could twist the fate of countless sentient beings. Prepare yourselves. Lin Yuan immediately contacted Shen Yuan Supreme and 9 other Supremes. Swish, swish, swish. 9 figures appeared in turn. Humanity's civilization had largely completed its migration over 2 centuries ago, and the 9 Supremes had been constantly awaiting the arrival of calamity. Galaxy, you've told us to prepare. Shen Yuan Supreme looked at Lin Yuan, speaking in a low voice. Their spatio-temporal fusion comprehension remained at the 6th realm, and they could not sense the tide-like terrifying fluctuation Lin Yuan was faintly aware of. It's almost here. Lin Yuan nodded. These words engendered mixed emotions in the hearts of the 9 Supremes. For years, they had heard from Lin Yuan that their homeland universe would suffer premature collapse due to the battles of the Chaos Great Saints. Yet even Lin Yuan could not pinpoint the timing for certain, as the combat trajectories of the 2 Great Saints were only roughly predictable and subject to sudden redirection. This uncertainty had kept alive a sliver of hope in the 9 Supremes' hearts, deeply bonded to the universe they called their homeland. But Lin Yuan's prompt for preparation now implied the impact was imminent, making the catastrophe an inevitable truth. As time ticked on, 2 extremes of destructive energies near the home universe, no longer sensed solely by Lin Yuan but also by 12th-layer powerhouses scattered throughout. The universe is collapsing? Alien beings at the 12th layer grew nervous. Save for anomalies like Lin Yuan, the collapse of a universe was akin to a harrowing brush with oblivion. Moreover, the premature arrival, half a cosmic era early, meant these 12th layer beings had lost crucial time for advancing their strength, further lowering their odds of survival. The Saints' duel. Within Robber Clan territory, 2 extremes huddled in a wooden hut, trying to make sense of the overwhelming energy waves. Even as Chaos Great Saints, they can only cause premature collapse, not erase a universe entirely. If we stay within the ancestral house, we won't face danger. The 2 Robber Clan extremes whispered to themselves. Neither the Great Saint-level forces nor His Majesty Xian Huang dared leave the universe entirely, having arranged contingency measures inside its domain. This was due to the universe being shielded by chaos rules. Not even Supreme Great Saints could leave an indelible mark upon it. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged under the starry sky, now acutely attuned to the ruinous impact wave wrapping around him. This destructive power was composed of 2 forces, constantly entangled and colliding, annihilating everything within the chaos void. Even something as vast as the cosmic starry skies suffered permanent, irreparable damage as the force swept through, beginning its demise. Observing closely, Lin Yuan noticed one force was fiery red, fueled by infinite chaos to produce what he recognized as the Chaos Flame. This Chaos Flame differed entirely from the one wielded by Lord Qingfen in the origin world. Lord Qingfen's flames were pure destruction and incendiary might, whereas this Chaos Flame was brimming with vitality, imbued with the essence of renewal. 9 Phoenix Great Saint? Lin Yuan speculated silently. Though he hadn't seen the battles firsthand, he was confident this energy hailed from 9 Phoenix Great Saint. The 9 Phoenix Great Saint had ascended to Great Saint through mastery of the Chaos Flame. The opposing force entangled with the flame took the form of utter darkness, a vast shadow swallowing existence into silent death. Shadow Demon Great Saint? Lin Yuan's thoughts raced, certain this shadow power belonged to the Shadow Demon Great Saint, the only rival capable of stalemating the 9 Phoenix. Boom! The 2 wholly different forces collided and spread outward, unleashing chaotic ripples across the void. Endless swathes of emptiness were ravaged and decimated. Lin Yuan's senses heightened, his 7th realm mastery of spatio-temporal fusion enabling him to detect a neighboring universe away from his homeland. This neighboring universe had already been engulfed by the two forces. Crash. The universe began collapsing at its origin, with the river of time drying up at breakneck speed, leaving its inhabitants defenseless and terrified. Oh! Collapse? Our universe wasn't supposed to falter so soon. How could this happen? Our tribes haven't even migrated yet. 12th layer extremes in the crumbling universe sensed the calamity a dozen breaths ahead but could only stash treasures within their inner worlds. Their tribes could only meet the collapse head-on. Entire clans perished in an instant, obliterated so fast they couldn't feel pain before vanishing. Crash. Boom. The universe continued imploding, a process proportional to its colossal scale, as it churned toward inevitable collapse. Fewer than 10 12th layer survivors will emerge here, Lin Yuan faintly sensed, arriving at this conclusion. The difference between preparation and unawareness was stark, especially for beings beneath 12th layer strength. Foreknowledge allowed weaker beings refuge within the ultimate's inner worlds, offering some chance of survival. In external collapse, even the sturdiest could fall to the river of time's drying currents, an assured death for any tethered fundamentally to its flow. Lin Yuan sat gazing at the progressively crumbling nearest universe, his heart void of joy or sorrow. Chaos Great Saint's strength is beyond what I can contend with. Their unique powers shaped by chaos rules are unimaginable. I wonder what my Chaos Yin Yang Taiji power would manifest as. Could it rival their Chaos Flame and Chaos Shadow? Lin Yuan pondered. Amid the spread of overwhelming forces, two figures stood tall at the center of their battle. The two resembled black holes, radiating terror that shattered the chaos void. 9 Phoenix, now that we're both great saints, why must we fight without end? The male figure on the right, draped in endless shadow, spoke to his counterpart. No end. Shadow Demon, you slaughtered my kin to extinction. Even if it kills me, I will destroy you. 9 Phoenix Great Saint, a cold-faced woman, stared daggers at Shadow Demon Great Saint, her eyes brimming with hatred. Born of the Chaos Void's phenomena, she had been accompanied by 8 kin of a similar nature. 4 untold eons, 9 Phoenix Great Saint shared life with these siblings, until Shadow Demon arrived. In those days, Shadow Demon lacked the status of a great saint, being merely a chaos venerable. To use the kin's flesh as cultivation material, he massacred all 8 siblings. 9 Phoenix narrowly escaped with her kin's aid. Thus began their eternal vendetta. Years passed as both ascended to the rank of great saints. Combat between chaos venerables entailed a degree of exhaustion, making their confrontations intermittent. But as great saints, armed with chaos rule-derived power, they now fought without limits, drawing endless resources from the chaos void itself. Kill me. The chaos flame you wield lacks the means for destruction. You cannot end me. Shadow Demon Great Saint spoke with resignation. 9 Phoenix Great Saint was unable to harm him, yet neither could he bring her defeat. The regenerative chaos flame she wielded solidified her as near immortal in combat, a fact even a coalition of great saints couldn't easily counter. Unable to kill you? Then I'll drag you down. 9 Phoenix's words were frost-edged and resolute. She could spend eternity locked in pursuit with Shadow Demon Great Saint. 9 Phoenix, you mad woman. Shadow Demon's voice dropped low, dragged into endless conflict. This willingness to forsake advancement solely to hinder him. What else could it be but insanity? Bas. Though engaging in conversation, the pair traded blows countless times in fleeting instants before vanishing into the void. The lingering power from their clashes rippled outward, its chaos continuing to devour entire universes prematurely. It's here. Lin Yuan tuned into the moment. The two forces had arrived, triggering a deafening cry from the home universe's origin source as space-time warped toward collapse. The collapse began from a universe's edges, spreading gradually inward until it folded into chaos once more, heralding the birth of a new universe expanding forth. Lin Yuan's expression turned solemn. Confident as he was in surviving the collapse, he dared not dismiss its challenges lightly. Boom! The outskirts of the universe began disintegrating swiftly. And at the very instant the collapse initiated, Lin Yuan's pupils contracted as he detected an unimaginable deviation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1019 Massive World-Breaking Origin Force, added chapter, requesting monthly pass. This is Lin Yuan felt a slight shock in his heart. Just now, as the universe began to shatter, massive areas of the fringe starfield collapsed. Lin Yuan immediately noticed that the speed at which he accumulated world-breaking origin force began to soar. Until now, after numerous tests by Lin Yuan, the upper limit of world-breaking origin force accumulation speed had always been locked at the efficiency of accumulating a strand every 90 days. As for an increase, even if Lin Yuan actively tore through the universe's void, creating an unprecedented eternal spatial rift, it still couldn't increase the accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force. But now, Lin Yuan clearly felt that the accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force was skyrocketing. Not just increasing. It was skyrocketing. From the initial 90 days per strand, to 50 days per strand, 20 days per strand, 1 day per strand, 10 strands per day, 1,000 strands per day. As the great disintegration of the universe continued, more and more star domains collapsed. The accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force seemed to be endlessly increasing. In just a few dozen breaths, Lin Yuan had accumulated hundreds of strands of world-breaking origin force. The great disintegration of the universe, does it really help accumulate world-breaking origin force so much? Lin Yuan was pleasantly surprised. All along, he couldn't comprehend what kind of energy world-breaking origin force truly was. If not for the myriad realms gates accumulation, he wouldn't have been aware of world-breaking origin force at all. And ever since Lin Yuan stepped into the 12th tier, more uses of the myriad realms gate had been discovered, among which world-breaking origin force played a nearly omnipotent role. In theory, as long as there is enough world-breaking origin force, even a chaos great saint or a great saint would be suppressed without resistance. And suppression is just the most trivial aspect of world-breaking origin force. Its most crucial use is creation, is omnipotence. Over 1,000 strands of world-breaking origin force now. In Lin Yuan's contemplation, he found that the world-breaking origin force he had accumulated had unknowingly increased by 1,000 strands. 1,000 strands of world-breaking origin force, at the usual accumulation rate, would take 200 or 300 years. But how long has it been now? Not even 10 minutes. This great disintegration of the universe. Lin Yuan felt a joy in his heart, didn't expect that the great disintegration of the universe was not entirely a bad thing. At least according to the current rate of world-breaking origin force accumulation, from the beginning to the end of this universal apocalypse, the number of world-breaking origin force he finally acquires will start at least in the millions of strands. Is it because the universe is completely collapsing? Lin Yuan speculated. Initially, he thought the great disintegration of the universe was related to the eternal spatial rift. Because being under the eternal spatial rift would increase world-breaking origin force accumulation speed to a certain extent until it was fixed at an accumulation rate of 90 strands per day. But until he stepped into the 12th tier, he didn't realize that was not the case. Being close to an eternal spatial rift can increase the accumulation speed, not because of the rift itself, but because it's closer to the chaos void. Until the eternal spatial rift is vast enough, the void breath that spills into the universe reaches its extreme, akin to being in the chaos void. Then the accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force stands at 90 days per strand. For example, now, one of Lin Yuan's avatars was in the chaos void. Even without other avatars beside the eternal spatial rift, the accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force is still 90 days per strand. The accumulation speed of 90 days per strand is the normal rate under the chaos void. Forget it. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment. Without any leads, the rebirth of the collapsed universe is the result of the chaos void rules, and even a great saint cannot comprehend it. Thinking about these at the moment was meaningless. Crash. Massive areas of the starry sky crumbled, turning into nothingness. One by one, the 12th tier ultimate beings immediately began transferring the life essence imprints of the universe clan people inside them. At this moment, as the universe rapidly disintegrated, the origin source consciousness fell into unprecedented weakness. Transferring the life imprints of the universe creatures within them now meant less backlash. The river of time began to dry up gradually. Many 12th tier ultimate beings took action, transferring all life imprints to the river of time within their internal universe. Suddenly, varying degrees of backlash struck. Many 12th tier ultimate beings appeared solemn, silently bearing the backlash from a universe itself. The backlash they endured was like ripples on a calm water surface stirred by an undercurrent. Each 12th tier ultimate being knew well, having not carried more life than they could bear into their internal universe, The backlash they faced was within the estimated range. It's my turn. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged under the starry sky, seeing many 12th-tier ultimate beings withstanding the backlash from the universe's origin source consciousness. He too immediately began transferring all citizens' life imprints from his internal universe. Buzz, buzz, buzz. If the transfer of the life essence imprints of world spirits inside other 12th-tier ultimate beings was like ripples stirred on a calm surface. Then when Lin Yuan began transferring the life essence imprints of countless citizens from his internal universe, the surface was not merely stirred into ripples but directly boiled, as if it exploded. The origin source consciousness of the universe, which was originally weak and about to fall asleep, suddenly jolted awake, incredulously sensing the constant disappearance of innumerable life essence imprints within the universe. Rumble. Unparalleled backlash converged, enveloping Lin Yuan. As other 12th-tier ultimate beings sensed this backlash, they couldn't help but tremble inside. If it were them facing such backlash, they would likely turn to ashes in an instant, unable to endure even a few breaths. Search *the novel_fire. @. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It's the strongest in the galaxy. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1020 Massive World-Breaking Origin Force. Added chapter, Seeking Monthly Pass. Under 2-inch, the strongest entity of the galaxy has taken all citizens of the human civilization into his internal universe, transferring such an enormous number of lives in an instant. The cosmic backlash this would provoke is unprecedented. I can feel it. The origin source of the universe is enraged. A series of 12th-layer ultimate beings felt their scalps go numb. The origin source of the universe, devoid of specific emotions, now rarely revealed its fury. Lin Yuan's actions had unequivocally shattered its boundaries. Normally, after the grand obliteration of a universe, countless lives would fall alongside it and transform into nourishment, fueling the birth of the next cosmic era. Yet now, with Lin Yuan transferring most of the lives away, the loss of such vast numbers would cause the cosmos to require far greater time to foster new energy. An immense detriment. The galaxy. The 9 strongest beings of the human civilization simultaneously turned their gazes toward Lin Yuan, their expressions tinged with worry. Even though they held unwavering faith in Lin Yuan, the genuine sense of rage emanating from the origin source left them slightly unsettled. Angry, huh? Lin Yuan also detected the emotion radiating from the cosmic origin source. However, he did not stop but continued transferring the life imprints of the countless citizens residing within his internal universe. In the next moment, the backlash descended. A terrifying pressure cloaked everything, yet it seemed as though it dissipated into nothingness, incapable even of disturbing the hem of Lin Yuan's garment. In the distance, numerous 12th-layer alien beings were closely observing Lin Yuan's movements, eager to witness how the strongest entity of the galaxy would withstand this wave of backlash. What's going on? Did the cosmic backlash truly land upon the strongest entity of the galaxy? Why do I feel like he hasn't moved an inch? A series of 12th-layer alien ultimate beings inhaled sharply, gaining a deeper understanding of the ultimate power wielded by the strongest entity of the galaxy. Saw the novel, F.I.R. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The strongest entity of the galaxy is simply too powerful. 2 ultimate beings of the robber clan exclaimed in awe. As beings at the peak of the path-splitting realm, supported by ancestral senses, they clearly understood the magnitude of the cosmic backlash Lin Yuan was enduring. Even masters in the sovereign realm would face mortal wounds when subjected to such a backlash, yet Lin Yuan remained untouched, as though nothing had occurred. Beyond the universe. Many universes had preemptively entered their grand obliteration, attracting numerous powerful beings. Outside each crumbling universe, groups of powerful entities stood guard, just waiting for the 12th-layer ultimate beings inside those universes to escape, so they could be crushed and looted. Following behind the Shadow Demon Great Saint and the 9 Phoenix Great Saint, I've already plundered 11 universes. The treasures I've obtained are likely worth nearly 100,000 Chaos Stones. 100,000 Chaos Stones. If earned traditionally, who knows how long it might take? 1 cosmic era? 2 cosmic eras? Now, just by waiting outside these universes, we can readily obtain them. It's far too easy. Indeed, the 12th-layer beings inside these universes lack combat experience. And since we hide in the shadows, they possess no means of resistance. The plunderers stationed outside the universes were chatting casually. They occupied different regions surrounding the collapsing universes, ready to ensnare the fleeing 12th layer beings the moment they escaped. Unfortunately, the speed of the two great saints is far too overwhelming, not to mention the waiting time between cosmic obliterations. Many collapsing universes have likely already been monopolized by the stronger entities ahead. Why bother thinking about all that? At least the nearby few universes belong to us. Many plunderers lamented in frustration. If they could forever follow the two great saints, their rewards would likely be immeasurable. But this was far from attainable. What level of speed do the Chaos Great Saints possess? Even in pure slaughter, they are unmatched, far beyond the grasp of sovereign realm beings. Furthermore, trailing behind the Chaos Great Saints demands precision. Get too close, and one risks being obliterated by the residual waves of their battles, alongside those universes. Not even universes, whose magnitude rivals that of Chaos Venerables, could avoid premature demise under such circumstances. Sovereign realm beings stood little chance of survival. However, if one remained too far away, either the cosmic obliteration would end, leaving no 12th layer beings to capture, or closer plunderers would take the spoils instead. Thus, maintaining the optimal distance was crucial. Of course, this all applied solely to plunderers of the sovereign realm and path-splitting realm. Chaos Venerables? Chaos Venerables dared not approach the battlefields of the Great Saints. Within the view of Chaos Great Saints, sovereign realm beings seemed insignificant and inconsequential. However, Chaos Venerables invariably attracted their attention. If the Chaos Great Saints harbored even a shred of malicious intent, the Venerables' fates would be gravely uncertain. Chaos Venerables typically governed their own chaos continents, wielding a stable and abundant source of chaos stones, making scavenging behind the Great Saints unnecessary. Harvesting the remnants of a universe held little appeal for Chaos Venerables. Given the significant risks involved, they wisely weighed the costs against gains. Outside the universe where Lin Yuan's homeland resided, a colossal black ship rapidly approached, stretching roughly 1,000,000 miles long, its aura as unfathomable as an abyss. The ship's presence projected a cold, oppressive field spanning tens of millions of light-years in radius. Even peak path-splitting realm beings found themselves immobilized under the suppressive force of this field. This universe has also entered its grand obliteration. Well set up camp here. Standing on the ship's prow was a towering figure over 10 meters tall. His gaze indifferent, silently observing the distant universe. The figure, named Xueyu, was a renowned peak sovereign realm powerhouse, who had joined the ranks of plunderers targeting collapsing universes. It couldn't be helped. The 12th layer beings within those universes were far too easy to subdue, posing virtually no risks while yielding stable treasure. Even peak sovereign realm beings found this irresistible. At this moment, on the opposite side of Lin Yuan's home universe, a massive suspended island spanning 1,000,000 miles tore through the void to appear. Ha ha ha. So it's Xueyu Sovereign. On the suspended island stood another figure, serpent-headed with a human torso, exuding an overwhelming aura as he gazed distantly at the black ship. Serpent Demon? Xueyu Sovereign frowned. Although the Serpent Demon Sovereign wasn't yet at the peak of the sovereign realm, he was close. With peculiar methods Xueyu Sovereign preferred to avoid antagonizing. The two sovereign realm beings locked eyes across the void briefly, their intentions obvious. They shared the same target, the distant universe that had entered its grand obliteration. Xueyu, how about splitting this universe between us? That area is yours, and this area is mine. What do you think? The Serpent Demon Sovereign proposed. Sovereign realm beings typically avoided mutual conflict unless absolutely necessary, and the rewards of a single universe seldom justified risking their lives in a battle. Thus, preemptive discussions for an equitable split were preferable. Agreed. Xueyu Sovereign nodded. The so-called split indicated that the 12th layer beings escaping after the cosmic obliteration would belong to whoever's designated region they entered. Theoretically, the 12th layer beings inside the universe could escape from any location. By partitioning the regions beforehand, disputes over the escapees could be avoided. On the black ship, Xueyu Sovereign gazed distantly at the collapsing universe. My sovereign. At this moment, dozens of figures appeared behind him, speaking reverently. You will each station yourselves within these regions. Contemplating briefly, Xueyu Sovereign assigned roles to his subordinates. Given the sheer size of the universe, even half its area was exceedingly difficult to secure. Even someone like Xueyu Sovereign, a peak figure of unmatched caliber, couldn't maintain vigilance across all areas all the time, necessitating the deployment of subordinates to watch for any escapees. Understood. The dozens of figures nodded before vanishing. They were all peak path-splitting realm beings loyal to Xueyu Sovereign, serving him earnestly. Occasionally, Xueyu Sovereign would guide these subordinates or bestow them secret techniques as inheritance. Hopefully, the grand obliteration ends quickly. Xueyu Sovereign silently contemplated. He intended to move on to the next collapsing universe soon. Throughout, he never regarded the 12th layer beings within the universe as worthy opponents. To him, these 12th layer beings, nurtured in the comforting embrace of their universe, weren't even comparable to his battle-hardened subordinates. In Xueyu Sovereign's eyes, the 12th layer beings within these universes were merely living chaos stones, whose greatest purpose was to become the sustenance fueling his path of cultivation. To serve as sustenance for his advancement was their honor. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1021. Carrying the Universe, Extra Update, Requesting Monthly Tickets. All the transfers are complete. Under the starry sky, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. The full-force backlash from the universe's primordial will had also gradually subsided. No real impact. Lin Yuan remained calm. This backlash, capable of obliterating even Dominator-level powerhouses, was far from enough to shake his physical body, soul body, or the universe within him. The world-breaking origin force has already exceeded 10,000. Lin Yuan glanced at the accumulated world-breaking origin force and a smile appeared on his face. In just a brief moment, his world-breaking origin force had increased by 10,000 strands. It should be noted that since Lin Yuan awakened the Myriad Realms Gate until now, the total accumulated world-breaking origin force, including the portions that had already been consumed, had never even come close to reaching 10,000. I wonder if being outside the universe would allow me to accumulate world-breaking origin force at this speed? Lin Yuan thought to himself. The fact that the cosmic collapse significantly accelerated the accumulation speed of world-breaking origin force was indisputable, and Lin Yuan now wanted to determine whether this increase in speed required being inside the universe. If there was no such restriction, then once the home universe underwent its cosmic collapse, Lin Yuan planned to send a fragment of his primordial spirit to search for universes approaching their collapse, using this method to expedite the accumulation of world-breaking origin force. Universes birthed from the chaos void strictly forbade the entry of external life forms. This was an iron law of the rules. Especially during a cosmic collapse, the rejection of external life forms became extreme, allowing entry from within but forbidding entry from without. Next, it's time to attempt leaving the universe. Lin Yuan gazed at the beyond, a feat that represented the most challenging barrier for 12th-tier life forms within the universe. Given the sheer scale of their existence, having swallowed and absorbed countless resources and energies within the universe, trying to break free from its boundaries would undoubtedly provoke fierce resistance and backlash from the primordial will. The process of gradually departing from the universe was termed the Great Collapse Tribulation. Survive it, and vast horizons await in the chaos void. Fail, and one would be permanently confined within the universe, destined to perish utterly. Galaxy, when do you plan to begin? Xianxia Supreme looked at Lin Yuan, posing this question. The beginning, of course, referred to the act of leaving the universe. I'll wait a little longer, you go first, Lin Yuan replied. At this moment, he was amassing an immense quantity of world-breaking origin force every second, and he truly couldn't bear to leave just yet. Thus, he decided to delay for a while, intending to depart at the final moment. After all, he wasn't certain whether he could still absorb such an abundance of world-breaking origin force once he left the universe. All right. Xianxia Supreme and the 9 human civilization supremes nodded, then began attempting to charge into the chaos void to break free from the universe. The other 12th-tier aliens took the same approach. They were not Lin Yuan, after all, and the sooner they left, the better. Rumble. Dozens of 12th-tier ultimate beings charged simultaneously toward the universe's edge. In an instant, the universe's primordial consciousness began to intervene, unleashing a tremendous backlash. What? Xianxia Supreme and the other 12th tier's expressions changed sharply. The backlash they were now enduring suddenly intensified far beyond their expectations. At this level of backlash, not a single one of these 12th-tier beings was likely to withstand it. They would all be forcibly confined within the universe, catalyzing the birth of the next cosmic era. Huh! Lin Yuan also noticed this anomaly, a trace of puzzlement flashing across his face. Is it because of me? Lin Yuan mulled over the thought. Under normal circumstances, after the cosmic collapse, the primordial consciousness would gradually fall into slumber, which made it relatively easier for 12th-tier lifeforms to break free from the universe and survive the Great Collapse tribulation. Typically, survival rates approached 50%. This was because the primordial consciousness lacked the strength to resist. But during this cosmic collapse, because Lin Yuan carried an exceptionally large number of human civilization citizens with him, it had completely reawakened the originally weakening primordial consciousness, forcing it to intervene in an attempt to stop Lin Yuan. Though ultimately unsuccessful in halting him, the primordial consciousness had not followed the usual trajectory of slipping into slumber. Thus, all current 12th-tier lifeforms attempting to leave the universe now faced an extraordinarily intense level of backlash, one comparable to the difficulty of escaping before the cosmic collapse commenced. At this level of difficulty, even a peak path-splitting realm expert was highly unlikely to break free, let alone survive the Great Collapse tribulation. Whoosh! 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 Realizing the terror of this tribulation far exceeded their expectations, Shen Yuan Supreme and the other 12th-tier beings retreated without hesitation. If they hesitated any longer, they would face serious injuries. Being gravely injured during the cosmic collapse? That would essentially mean a death sentence. This Great Collapse tribulation, Shen Yuan Supreme and the 9 human civilization supremes looked grim, their hearts sinking to their lowest point. Even the strongest among them, Shen Yuan Supreme, held no confidence in surviving, not even for a brief moment. For the 9 human civilization supremes, the situation was equally dire, and for the 12th-tier aliens, terror was now visibly etched across their faces. CTH Novelfire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Having lost their 12th-tier weapons, armories, treasures and relics to Lin Yuan, their strength was already greatly diminished, and now they faced a spatial Great Collapse tribulation of this magnitude. We likely won't make it out. Shen Yuan Supreme and the other 8 Supremes exchanged glances, collectively arriving at this thought. A tribulation of such terrifying intensity was simply insurmountable for even the strongest path-splitting realm beings. Just as the 9 human civilization supremes resigned themselves to their impending doom, a voice suddenly echoed in their ears. All of you, enter my internal universe. This voice was unmistakably familiar to the 9 supremes. It belonged to Lin Yuan. Galaxy, you want us to enter your internal universe? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1022 Bearing the Universe, added chapter, Seeking Monthly Pass. Underthrew Shen Yuan Supreme froze momentarily, then shook his head and said, in this case, Galaxy, the difficulty you face with the Great Cataclysmic Tribulation will surge drastically. The tribulation this time already far exceeds those of the past, and with another surge, Shen Yuan Supreme was unwilling to drag Lin Yuan down. As long as Lin Yuan could leave the universe alive, human civilization would not face extinction. As for them, if their burden caused Lin Yuan to fail the Great Cataclysmic Tribulation, Shen Yuan Supreme would be the first to never forgive himself. The other 8 Supremes felt the same way. Taking ordinary life forms out of the universe would already increase the difficulty of the Great Cataclysmic Tribulation, and carrying 1/12th layer Supreme? Let alone Lin Yuan planning to take all 9 of the Supremes of human civilization? It's fine. Do not resist. Lin Yuan shook his head lightly, his thoughts stirred, and he absorbed the 9 Supremes, who had yet to react, into his internal universe. In truth, whether or not Lin Yuan took the 9 Supremes, the difficulty of facing the Great Cataclysmic Tribulation would remain unchanged, as it was already at its highest level. The consciousness of the universe's origin source would exhaust every measure to stop Lin Yuan from leaving. Galactic Supreme, we are willing to pledge eternal allegiance. From afar, countless 12th-layer alien entities saw Lin Yuan absorb the 9 Supremes into his internal universe. Despite knowing the chances were slim, they could not resist making a probing plea. Eternal allegiance? Lin Yuan considered briefly, then casually absorbed all the 12th-layer alien entities into his internal universe as well. After all, if he carried one, he might as well carry a group. Since the difficulty of the Great Cataclysmic Tribulation remained constant, Lin Yuan naturally didn't mind taking a few more along. Besides, securing allegiance from more 12th-layer lifeforms was without harm. Rustling sounds filled the air. Suddenly, the universe became empty, leaving only Lin Yuan standing tall under the starry skies. At last, I can truly unleash myself. Lin Yuan let out a faint sigh. Ever since ascending to the 12th layer, his true body had never fought at full strength. Before mastering the infinite void first layer, Lin Yuan was suppressed by the universe's origin source, able at most to exert peak path-splitting realm strength. After mastering the infinite void first layer, Lin Yuan achieved near invincibility at the Dominion realm, daring to challenge even Chaos Venerable. Although the universe's origin source consciousness could no longer suppress him, he still refrained from using his full force. The destructive power was simply too vast. One careless move could inflict irreversible damage upon the cosmic starry skies, the domain of humanity. Lin Yuan naturally wouldn't do such a thing. Now, with the universe facing imminent collapse, Lin Yuan no longer needed to tread cautiously. After all, everything was bound to be destroyed. Boom! Lin Yuan's form abruptly expanded, swelling to an unimaginable size. Just one of his fingers extended across tens of thousands of light years, his eyes resembling two boundless abyssal chasms. A casual exhalation from him could snuff out countless star systems. At this moment, the entire universe seemed, to Lin Yuan, akin to a slightly larger swimming pool. Spacious, yes, but small enough for him to see its edges at a glance. Lin Yuan stretched his limbs freely, the terrifying aura extinguishing countless planets. Had this occurred before the Great Cataclysmic Tribulation, an uncountable number of lives would have perished. Let's go! Lin Yuan lifted his foot and stepped toward the edge of the universe. Outside his home universe, the Blood Dominion and Serpent Demon Dominion were waiting impatiently. According to the natural progression of a collapsing universe, at this time, 12th-layer lifeforms should already be breaking free. But for this universe before them, there was not the slightest sign, nor even a hint of 12th-layer lifeforms nearing escape. What's going on? The Blood Dominion furrowed his brows, feeling carefully for a moment. The consciousness of this universe's origin source is extremely active. That shouldn't be. For a collapsing universe, isn't the consciousness supposed to have fallen into slumber? The Blood Dominion pondered briefly. Could it be that a 12th-layer entity carried too many lifeforms, causing the consciousness of the origin source to reject it, thereby awakening to intervene? Foolish! The Blood Dominion nearly cursed aloud. The awakening of the universe's origin source consciousness increases the difficulty of the tribulation. The Blood Dominion wasn't sympathetic toward the 12th-layer lifeforms within the universe. Rather, he was annoyed that a more challenging tribulation could lead to far fewer 12th-layer entities surviving, with many more perishing inside the universe. And consequently, their harvest would be reduced. On the other side, the Serpent Demon Dominion realized the same issue, his expression exceedingly grim. Having waited so long, was this the outcome? Forget it. Chalk it up to bad luck. The Blood Dominion glanced at the distant universe, ready to depart. With little chance of any 12th-layer entities emerging, the universe wasn't worth his time. With this time, he could easily reap rewards from another universe. Just as the Blood Dominion turned to leave, he seemed to sense something and abruptly turned back, fixing his gaze on the distant universe. A 12th-layer entity might be breaking free from the universe. The Blood Dominion stared. By now, the universe was more than half collapsed, its outer regions an endless haze, leaving him unable to probe further. Yet he sensed an aura rapidly escaping the universe's confines. To break free in an enhanced tribulation's conditions, it must be at the path-splitting realm's peak. The Blood Dominion's face lit with excitement. A 12th layer being at the peak of the path-splitting realm during a single cosmic era was extraordinarily rare, embodying an unmatched power within its universe. And being supreme within the universe meant what? That most resources within the universe surely belonged to this peak existence. Capturing such an entity would yield far greater rewards than taking 10 or 20 beings from the path-splitting realm. Serpent Demon. The Blood Dominion narrowed his eyes slightly, glancing toward the Serpent Demon Dominion's location. If he had detected this, surely the Serpent Demon Dominion had as well. No doubt, there will be a clash, the Blood Dominion thought to himself. Under normal circumstances, if a dozen or so path-splitting realm lifeforms escaped a universe, he could split the spoils evenly with the Serpent Demon Dominion, maintaining peace. But with only a single path-splitting realm peak, how could they divide?
And a peak existence in the path-splitting realm that had surely encountered extraordinary opportunities would certainly be far more valuable than even anticipated.
With this in mind, the Blood Dominion was already prepared for combat. He would act the moment the peak path-splitting realm entity stepped into the Chaos Void, capturing them instantly before swiftly leaving. By seizing this peak entity, the Blood Dominion would secure the greatest benefits, rendering further conflict with the Serpent Demon Dominion unnecessary. Time flowed steadily. The Blood Dominion waited patiently. He kept most of his focus on the Serpent Demon Dominion, occasionally glancing toward the distant universe. The Blood Dominion was acutely aware that his primary adversary was the Serpent Demon Dominion. If he could overpower the Serpent Demon, the peak path-splitting realm entity would be easily his to take. Rustling sounds arose. At a particular moment, the outward haze of the completely collapsed universe was suddenly torn apart. The Blood Dominion stepped forward swiftly, advancing toward the universe, and the Serpent Demon Dominion mirrored his actions. Halfway there, the Blood Dominion paused in awe as he finally realized. Wasn't this tearing of the hazy gas layers far too enormous? Before the Blood Dominion could fully react, he witnessed a scene that would remain etched in his memory forever. A colossal foot emerged through the massive tear in the haze, its size calculated in the millions upon millions of light-years. Rustling sounds continued. The tear widened, and an immense towering giant, nearly equal to the heavens, strode forth. This towering giant walked unimpeded, as countless bolts of lightning, flames, icy winds and currents, the manifestations of the great cataclysmic tribulation, attempted desperately to hold him back, all to no avail. The giant's pace did not slow for an instant. CTH novel_fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The countless bolts of lightning, flames, icy winds, and currents of the tribulation were trifles to the immense giant. However, they made the Blood Dominion's soul tremble. Each bolt of lightning, spark of flame, icy breeze, or splash of current would have been more than sufficient to annihilate him utterly, yet to the giant, they couldn't even scratch the surface? This. The Blood Dominion raised his head, gazing at the immense giant who strode forth from the universe, his expression utterly dumbfounded. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1023 Two Little Guys? Requesting Monthly Pass. Lin Yuan's Internal Universe. Even though it houses countless citizens of human civilization and numerous alien lives, vast regions still remain unoccupied. Lin Yuan's internal universe is built upon the foundation of the 13th tier inheritance, Infinite Void. Its profound and unimaginable depth ensures that, as long as space is sufficient, it can accommodate nearly anything. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Dozens of 12-tier beings appeared in a corner, expressions of ecstatic joy on their faces. The galaxy's strongest? The galaxy's strongest is willing to protect me? Ha ha ha, the galaxy's strongest is merciful. I finally have hope to survive this great collapse disaster. If I can stay alive, surrendering completely to the galaxy's strongest is hardly worth fretting over. Upon realizing that they had been absorbed into Lin Yuan's internal universe, all the 12-tier beings were initially overwhelmed with joy. They had encountered the edges of the great collapse and understood its horrors, fully certain that surviving it on their own was simply impossible. In such dire circumstances, death was almost an inevitability. Unable to endure the great collapse, they would be forced to remain within the universe, ultimately perishing along with its complete destruction. This is the fate of all 12-tier beings unable to overcome the great collapse. But now, the galaxy's strongest has chosen to bring them into his internal universe. Sarch * the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With the protection of the galaxy's strongest, their hopes of surviving the great collapse had soared exponentially. However, as the multitude of 12-tier beings took in their surroundings, they froze in astonishment. You came in too? The galaxy's strongest is willing to protect you as well? Is everyone here? The 12-tier beings were bewildered. To their shock, the strongest of all 12-tier beings in the universe, aside from human civilization, had been absorbed into the galaxy's strongest's internal universe. Realizing this, many of the 12-tier beings could no longer summon the joy they had felt. With a quick calculation,
They determined that Lin Yuan's internal universe currently housed around 80 12-tier beings, coupled with countless citizens of human civilization, and a multitude of aliens who had completely sold themselves to human civilization. On top of that, many 12-tier beings had vast numbers of lives within their own internal universes as well. This meant that, single-handedly, the galaxy's strongest had absorbed all the life within this universe, including the 12-tier beings, into his internal universe, and now intended to survive the Great Collapse with them. The 12-tier beings were in shock. Facing the Great Collapse with so many lives in tow, what unimaginable catastrophe awaited? The 12-tier beings could neither imagine nor dare to speculate. During the Great Collapse of the universe, under normal circumstances, all lives would perish along with the destruction, becoming the driving force for the emergence of the next cosmic era. The 12-tier beings are an exception. They possess a narrow chance of survival. If they can endure the Great Collapse, they can live on. Yet this chance is relative. The more lives a 12-tier being carries, the slimmer their odds of survival. Now, the galaxy's strongest is carrying the entirety of the universe's life. How could the origin source possibly tolerate this? With countless lives lost as the driving force, after the universe's Great Collapse, the time required to bring forth the next cosmic era would become immeasurably prolonged. Can the galaxy's strongest truly endure the Great Collapse? I don't know. Carrying so many lives, he may face the universe's full force suppression and backlash. The galaxy's strongest. Is he truly that confident? All the 12-tier beings were tense. Now they were tied to the galaxy's strongest. If he failed to survive the Great Collapse, they were destined to perish, with no chance of survival. Jianghu clan, having fought with human civilization for so many years with enmity as deep as the seas, have the audacity to plead for the galaxy's strongest's protection? A 12-tier being glanced at a few Jianghu clan ultimates, expressing slight dissatisfaction. If the Jianghu clan's ultimates hadn't been taken in, the galaxy's strongest might face less pressure from the Great Collapse, and the odds of surviving would be greater. And the insect race? Didn't you vow eternal enmity with humans? Why have you been taken in as well? Where's your backbone? One after another, the 12-tier beings cast irritated looks at each other, knowing that their survival hung on everything. Enough. No need to argue. At that moment, a Star Alliance ultimate spoke up, sweeping a glance at all the 12-tier beings. Do you truly believe the galaxy's strongest cares about the Great Collapse? At these words, the 12-tier beings froze in place. The Star Alliance ultimate's implication was that the galaxy's strongest did not care about the Great Collapse. Among the 12-tier beings present, none had the methods of the two ultimates from the robber clan to discern Lin Yuan's capabilities clearly, or to assert that he could challenge the Chaos Venerable. Their understanding of the galaxy's strongest was still confined to him being unable to penetrate path-splitting realm peak-level defensive treasures. Under these conditions, they considered the galaxy's strongest to have, at best, mastery realm strength. Yet a mastery realm being, under the universe's origin source's intense suppression, was not much stronger than those at the path-splitting realm. Do you think I'm wrong? The Star Alliance ultimate chuckled and continued. Have any of you noticed how the galaxy's strongest's internal universe differs from ours? Difference. One 12-tier being snapped back. In truth, some had already sensed discrepancies upon entering, realizing the galaxy's strongest's internal universe seemed unnaturally stable. However, their focus had been immediately drawn away by the commotion among other 12-tier beings. Now, with the Star Alliance ultimate's reminder, they began carefully observing the surrounding space-time. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1024 Two Little Guys? Requesting monthly pass. Underscore 2 however, upon this observation, the minds of countless 12-tier beings could not help but shudder. The inner cosmos of 12-tier lives operates under rules entirely determined by themselves. Simply put, the cosmos within 12-tier beings can only function based on the rules they have comprehended. But at this moment, in the field of vision of all 12-tier beings, the rules operating within the surrounding spacetime could almost be described as vast as an ocean of smoke, with each rule's depth so unfathomable that no 12-tier being could aspire to reach it. Especially the two foundational pillar rules of time and space, which swept grandly like celestial columns supporting the universe. Even these 12-tier beings, before these two celestial columns, seemed like mere ants. The inner cosmos of the galaxy's strongest entity? All 12-tier beings felt their scalps tingle.
They had never seen such an intricate interplay of rules within an inner cosmos. How many rules had been comprehended here? Moreover, besides the infinite rules fueling its support, the 12-tier beings faintly perceived that the fundamental essence of this inner cosmos was heavy and beyond comprehension. Even they would find it challenging to traverse the void across great distances within this cosmos. In the main universe, a mere strike from a 12-tier being could tear open a permanent spatial rift. But here, forget about a permanent spatial rift. Creating even a single spatial rift required considerable effort from 12-tier beings. The inner cosmos of the galaxy's strongest entity. A 12-tier being's throat felt dry. For some reason, they faintly sensed that this inner cosmos was even vaster than the boundless main universe. Beyond their home cosmos, Blood Dominator and Serpent Monarch, these two mighty sovereigns, stood dumbfounded watching the distant cosmos. More precisely, watching the towering giant stride toward the cosmos edge, undeterred by countless calamities blocking its way. What is this? Blood Dominator trembled all over. The spectacle before them was simply unfathomable. Wasn't it said that life forms within the cosmos could at most reach the peak of the path-splitting realm? What was the meaning of this giant towering heaven and earth? Blood Dominator couldn't ascertain the towering giant's level of power, but one thing was certain. They were far from being its opponent. Not even close. What should we do, my sovereign? What should we do now? Blood Dominator's dozens of subordinates had originally been stationed in strategically arranged zones, simply waiting for the 12-tier life forms within the cosmos to escape, to then intercept and suppress them. This was something they had done many times before without much incident. Even in the worst-case scenario of encountering the rare peak path-splitting realm being seen only once in thousands of cosmic eras, they had ample countermeasures. Everyone was at the peak of the path-splitting realm, and they, who had battled in the chaos void for years, possessed combat experience and lethal tactics far exceeding those of any peak path-splitting realm being within the cosmos. A perfect scenario. But now, that towering giant. They were supposed to make a move against such an existence? The dozens of peak path-splitting realm subordinates trembled with dread, daring not even to entertain the thought of action against it, let alone act. The towering giant's sheer presence was too overwhelming. If not for Blood Dominator's long-standing authority and prestige, these subordinates would have scattered and fled already. What should we do? Blood Dominator steadied himself and immediately transmitted an order. Retreat, all of you return to me. Xianxia. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. At this moment, Blood Dominator's only thought was to stay far away from this place. Far away from the towering giant. Understood. Dozens of subordinates, as if receiving a pardon, hurriedly gathered toward Blood Dominator. On the other side, Serpent Monarch also ordered his subordinates to retreat, while he himself hastened to maneuver Suspended Island into swift flight. The calamity of great destruction consists of fire tribulation, thunder tribulation, wind tribulation, and water tribulation. These four calamities do not represent foundational rules. They embody the universe's core forces. Lin Yuan casually stepped forward toward the universe's edge. But these calamities are rather ordinary. Over 300 years, Lin Yuan had leveraged the endless resources continually delivered from ancient Ming's Chaos Continent to cultivate the Xianhuang physique to the 12-tier sovereign realm. In terms of physical strength and vitality, Lin Yuan was already remarkably close to Chaos Venerable. Coupled with an inner cosmos comparable to that of a Chaos Venerable, numerous innate divine skills, and various techniques. Not to mention the universe's origin consciousness, which mastered power somewhat rigidly. Even a true Chaos Venerable would struggle to obstruct Lin Yuan. In an all-out battle, Lin Yuan might not be a match for a Chaos Venerable, but neither could they hold him down. If Lin Yuan could step into the sovereign realm and achieve another qualitative leap in his essence of life, he might even suppress ordinary Chaos Venerables. If he managed to cultivate the infinite void to the second layer, his comprehensive combat strength could approach that of a Chaos Great Saint. Swoosh! Lin Yuan's final step landed, entirely escaping the obstruction of the universe's origin consciousness. Freedom. An inexplicable thought surfaced in Lin Yuan's heart. Within the cosmos, protected by the universe, even when transforming into its explorer, there remained a sense of constraint. Now that he had completely broken free from the cosmos, a sense of liberation surged within him. Lin Yuan turned around, casting a glance at the nearby universe.
Because Lin Yuan had timed his departure precisely to maximize absorption of world-breaking origin force, upon his arrival in the Chaos Void, the universe's great destruction had reached its final stages, with vast starfields obliterated and collapsing. This universe likely requires significant time to open its next cosmic era. Lin Yuan faintly sensed the weakening of the universe's origin. Having lost countless lives and powerful beings as its driving force, after the Great Destruction, the universe's origin consciousness would enter prolonged slumber to accumulate sufficient energy for initiating a new cosmic era. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1025 Two Little Guys? Requesting monthly pass. _3 However, this has no real harm to the universe itself. The universe is nurtured by the Chaos Void and is protected by its rules. Even an unparalleled great saint cannot cause actual damage to the universe itself. At most, they can only hasten its entry into the Great Collapse. The Great Collapse of the universe is a catastrophe, an apocalypse for the beings within it. But to the universe itself, it is as simple as taking a nap to rest and recover. It's just that because of Lin Yuan, the length of time the home universe will sleep this time will be a bit longer. Within the home universe, endless destructive forces permeated the void, and a seemingly ordinary wooden hut drifted amidst the chaos. Any single trace of the destructive force was enough to obliterate a Dominator-level being. The combined power of countless destructive forces had already reached the level of the Chaos Realm. Yet all these overwhelming destructive forces were silently neutralized and absorbed the moment they touched the seemingly ordinary wooden hut. Has the Galactic Supreme left? Such immense power. How was such a massive true form cultivated? Could it be that before reincarnation, the Galactic Supreme was an unparalleled great saint adept in corporeal strength? Within the wooden hut, two faint voices conversed. It was the two ultimate entities of the robber clan. Even the most terrifying tribulations of destruction cannot shake the Galactic Supreme, nor even delay him. I even suspect that with his strength, if he forcibly stayed within the universe, he could survive until the next cosmic era. The voices in the wooden hut exchanged words, filled with incredulity. To rely solely on physical flesh and blood to withstand the boundless tribulations of destruction. What kind of concept is this? The universe is about to completely collapse. We must also prepare to enter slumber. After a while of discussion, the two ultimate beings of the robber clan noticed that the surrounding space was becoming increasingly constricted. Indeed, it is time to sleep again. The other ultimate being of the robber clan nodded. They had experienced more than one great collapse and were well acquainted with what would happen next. Who knows when we'll see the Galactic Supreme again? The first being who had spoken let his thoughts wander. He sighed and said, I have a feeling that the next time we hear the name of the Galactic Supreme, it might be when he has become the Galactic Great Saint, shaking the Chaos Void. Shaking the Chaos Void? The other ultimate being of the robber clan agreed. Ordinary Chaos Venerables or even Chaos Great Saints could not achieve such a feat to shake the Chaos Void. Only those unparalleled Great Saints were capable. Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Deep within the universe on the verge of total collapse. Within the Xianxia secret realm, a single incarnation of Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. As the universe approached its destruction, the size of the Xianxia secret realm rapidly shrank, finally maintaining an area of just a few hundred meters around. Before the great collapse of the universe commenced, Lin Yuan had purposely left an incarnation behind in this Xianxia secret realm as a last resort for preserving his life. The Xianxia secret realm was isolated from the causality of space and time. Even if Lin Yuan's true form perished completely in the Chaos Void, the incarnation within the secret realm could use the life-preserving methods stored there to resurrect him. Additionally, numerous forbidden treasures were hidden here, such as that single drop of blood of time. So far, Lin Yuan had found no place safer than the Xianxia secret realm. The Source World? Its safety was only relative to the powerful figures of the Chaos Void. However, danger still existed there, such as the feudal lords and kings, or the eternal fierce sun that hung high over the heavens. Placing the treasures in the Source World would indeed prevent the powerful entities of the Chaos Void from seizing them. This applied even to 13th-tier temporal beings, but the powerful figures in the Source World would not be similarly restricted. The Moyu Tower Master had expended boundless time and effort to hunt down a wondrous temporal entity, refining it to form the blood of time. Even within the source world, this treasure was a supreme artifact of immense value, capable of inciting a bloody struggle among the feudal-level heavenly venerates. Placing the blood of time in the Xianhuang's secret realm was not only safe but also made it easier for Lin Yuan to retrieve it. All he needed to do was control a creature from within the universe and have it toss the blood of time into the eternal spatial rift. The blood of time was not a living entity and therefore faced no restrictions upon leaving the universe. After today, I will no longer have the concept of a home universe. Lin Yuan's true form stood outside the universe, quietly watching as his home universe traversed its final journey. World-breaking origin force. Lin Yuan briefly sensed the accumulation of world-breaking origin force during the universe's great collapse, and a smile appeared on his face. 1,436,812 strands of world-breaking origin force. This was the total amount Lin Yuan had accumulated from the beginning of the Great Collapse until he entered the Chaos Void. So much! Lin Yuan felt a burst of joy. With such a vast reserve of world-breaking origin force, he felt a deep sense of confidence. At least in his future usage, there would no longer be a need to scrape by or endlessly deliberate. When he first descended into the source world, Lin Yuan had carefully weighed the option of spending a mere 100 strands of world-breaking origin force to save the original Yu Yan. If it were now, there would be no need for such hesitation. From what I see now, remaining outside the universe doesn't allow me to absorb the world-breaking origin force emanating from its collapse? Lin Yuan pondered internally. Until he had exited the universe, the world-breaking origin force had continued to accumulate rapidly. However, the moment he stepped into the Chaos Void, the accumulation came to an abrupt halt. Bear in mind, the current universe had not yet fully disintegrated. Theoretically, there should still be remnants of world-breaking origin force being released, perhaps in reduced quantities, but not completely vanishing. What a pity! Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. If amassing large amounts of world-breaking origin force required entering a collapsing universe, then replicating such conditions presented significant challenges. Lin Yuan scanned his surroundings, his senses extending outward. He detected two faint auras cautiously rushing away several million light-years in the distance. Two little ones? Lin Yuan gazed at the two cautious presences fleeing far away. One was a massive black ship, the other a suspended island. The black ship and suspended island were vast, spanning millions of miles each, towering and immense. But compared to Lin Yuan in his current state, they truly were no more than tiny specks. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1026. New Home, New Era, End of this volume, request for monthly passes. They're fleeing. Lin Yuan gazed into the distance. The black ship and the suspended island were darting through the void, exuding an air of frantic escape. These insignificant beings, are they plunderers stationed outside the universe? Lin Yuan's thoughts moved with incredible speed, immediately deducing their origins. Guarding outside the universe for no apparent reason, only to panic and flee upon seeing him emerge. What else could they be but plunderers? Return! Lin Yuan's mind stirred slightly. The divine ability world began its operation. In an instant, 2 million light-years in radius, centered on Lin Yuan, transformed entirely into an external cosmos. Aboard the black ship, Bloodshade Sovereign only began to relax after they had traveled more than 10 million light-years away. We've survived. A faint smile appeared on Bloodshade Sovereign's face. He glanced behind him, and even at such an extensive distance, he could vaguely see that towering figure. At this range, even if he wanted to pursue, it'd be too late. Bloodshade Sovereign had yet to finish his thought. Suddenly, from every direction, an entirely new space-time descended. In this fleeting moment, Bloodshade Sovereign vaguely heard a voice by his ear. Return! When Bloodshade Sovereign regained consciousness, he was already back within the familiar void, precisely the spot outside the universe had been guarding moments ago. Damn it! Bloodshade Sovereign's spirits instantly sank to rock bottom. He swept his gaze around and shockingly discovered that Serpent Demon Sovereign was likewise nearby. Both sovereign-level powerhouses had escaped in completely opposite directions, only to be transported back nearly simultaneously. Such a feat, Bloodshade Sovereign had only witnessed among certain venerables. Except, a venerable? No matter how inconceivable it seemed, Bloodshade Sovereign couldn't help but associate the towering giant with a chaos venerable, even though this immense figure had emerged from within the universe, a place theoretically capable of producing figures at most peak path-splitting realm. Bloodshade. Not far away, Serpent Demon Sovereign's face was etched with fear, clearly realizing something as well. Were the two of you intending to plunder me? Just then, a voice sounded nearby. Serpent Demon Sovereign and Bloodshade Sovereign abruptly looked over, spotting a figure standing not far away. This figure's aura was invisible, leaving the two utterly incapable of detecting it until now. Master! Bloodshade Sovereign immediately reacted and addressed Lin Yuan respectfully. I was merely passing by here, with absolutely no intention of plundering. Me too, Serpent Demon Sovereign quickly added. By now, how could they not understand that the figure nearby was precisely the towering giant who had just emerged from within the universe? In the Chaos Void, survival is the rule of the strong, and neither Bloodshade Sovereign nor Serpent Demon Sovereign could indulge their doubts and confusion when faced with a being like Lin Yuan, capable of crushing them effortlessly. Respect was instinctive. Passing through. No intention of plundering? Xianxia the Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lin Yuan said indifferently, clearly disbelieving their claims. The Chaos Void was boundless. Two sovereign-level powerhouses conveniently stationed outside a universe on the verge of destruction. Passing through? Look at me. Lin Yuan directed his gaze at Serpent Demon Sovereign and Bloodshade Sovereign. The two sovereigns followed Lin Yuan's voice and looked up, only to meet a pair of incomparably profound eyes, seemingly connecting to an endless abyss. Mind-will secret skills. Abyssal eye. Hum. Bloodshade Sovereign and Serpent Demon Sovereign's minds and wills were struck, beginning to uncontrollably fall into descent. With Lin Yuan's strength, he could have outright pulverized the two sovereigns the moment he activated the Divine Ability World. But he ultimately chose capture instead and had been aiming precisely for this moment. Using the mind-will secret skills, Abyssal Eye, he drove their minds into descent before seizing the opportunity to initiate soul search on the two sovereigns. This was the simplest method. Direct soul search was far too challenging, as sovereigns were no fools. They'd resist furiously, and even if unsuccessful, they'd unhesitatingly self-detonate their physical forms. They'd then rely on prearranged resurrection techniques to come back to life. To any level of powerhouse, memory was the most sacred realm. Unless utterly desperate, no warrior would willingly allow someone to perform soul search. No! Bloodshade Sovereign's pupils suddenly turned crimson. His physical strength beginning to surge abnormally, managing to narrowly break free from Lin Yuan's suppression and dart madly in the opposite direction. Disrupted my soul search? Lin Yuan inwardly sighed. He was, after all, still a path-splitting realm being. Even though many of his techniques had reached Chaos Realm levels, attempting to perform soul search on a sovereign at peak level? It proved somewhat difficult. Forget it. Lin Yuan opted against continued efforts, instead extending his right hand. Across hundreds of light years, he struck Bloodshade Sovereign remotely. In one slap, Lin Yuan employed the full force of his physical capabilities and the power of his internal cosmos. The might far exceeded peak sovereign levels. Bloodshade Sovereign's body erupted in countless flashes of crimson light, holding out for only an instant before completely shattering. His body and soul extinguished simultaneously. Crash. Beside him, Serpent Demon Sovereign had likewise barely regained consciousness, fleeing frantically in the opposite direction. No matter how daunting Lin Yuan might appear, he was unwilling to risk soul search. The ability to perform soul search meant memories could be altered or tampered with. A fearsome technique every powerhouse remained deeply wary of. Smack. Lin Yuan struck again, and Serpent Demon Sovereign's body and soul likewise began to dissipate. The bodies and souls of both sovereigns dissolved over several breaths, transforming into the purest origin power, which Lin Yuan condensed and stored away. Master, spare us. From the black ship and the suspended island came cries for mercy. Bloodshade Sovereigns and Serpent Demon Sovereign subordinates pleading desperately. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1027 New Homeland, New Era, end of this volume, asking for monthly pass. Unders for 2-inch spare you. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. These subordinates, who followed the two lords, were stationed outside the cosmos intending to plunder. Since they wanted to rob others, they naturally had to be prepared for being robbed themselves. Because Lin Yuan's own strength was formidable, Bloodshade Lord and Serpent Demon Lord fled without a second thought, looking seemingly innocent. But what if Lin Yuan had been merely an ordinary 12th-layer path-splitting realm cultivator? After painstaking efforts to barely survive the catastrophic collapse of the universe, one might have believed that a bright future awaited, only to be met with cruel plunderers. At that time, would these plunderers have had any shred of compassion for Lin Yuan? Lin Yuan's gaze swept across, utilizing the mind-will secret skill, Abyssal Eye. Soul-searching Lord Realm experts proved somewhat difficult, but searching the souls of these path-splitting realm beings was relatively simple. Bloodshade Lord? Serpent Demon Lord? Lin Yuan immediately obtained intelligence on these two lords, a pair of notorious, domineering overlords. Despite their poor reputations, their strength was unfathomable. Even the Serpent Demon Lord possessed power nearing the peak of lordship. These treasures. After eliminating the numerous subordinates of the two lords, Lin Yuan began inventorying the loot. What he discovered slightly surprised him. The spoils of the two lords were overwhelming. Bloodshade Lord possessed two treasures from the Chaos Realm, one offensive and one defensive, along with other rare treasures. The total value exceeded 600,000 Chaos Stones. As for the Serpent Demon Lord, he too carried two Chaos Realm treasures, though his other valuables and curiosities were slightly less impressive. Altogether, they were worth about 500,000 Chaos Stones. In total, the two Lord Realm experts had contributed treasures worth over 1,000,000 Chaos Stones. They were truly wealthy. Lin Yuan sighed slightly. Even a peak Lord Realm expert like Zhang Weiyang only had total assets worth around 300 to 400,000 Chaos Stones. Indeed, plundering is the simplest way to acquire resources, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Bloodshade Lord was a notorious raider, having pillaged numerous cosmoses before settling at his home cosmos. Coupled with his earlier accumulations, his wealth naturally surpassed that of Zhang Weiyang. The Serpent Demon Lord, though weaker, had also amassed riches through similar plundering methods, surpassing Zhang Weiyang in accumulated wealth. Resources for the perfected 12th-layer Lord Realm Xianxia physique are nearly complete. After a brief calculation, Lin Yuan determined that the combined resources of the two lords, over 1,000,000 Chaos Stones, added to his existing holdings, were sufficient to cultivate the Xianxia physique secret technique to its perfected Lord Realm. With Xianxia physique reaching the perfected Lord Realm, Lin Yuan's physical strength would surge dramatically again, making the power behind his every movement even more terrifying. Moreover, the physical body nurtures the soul and the mind's will. Strengthening the body would greatly benefit the soul and mind's will. Unknowingly, I have become so powerful? Lin Yuan mused while organizing the spoils, putting away the black warship and floating island. When he first explored the Chaos Void, even stumbling upon the remnants of a dwelling left by Lord Realm expert Zhang Weiyang required extreme caution and vigilance. And now, how much time had passed? The Bloodshade Lord and Serpent Demon Lord, both at nearly the same level as Zhang Weiyang, could be suppressed by Lin Yuan with a mere flick of his hand. The stark contrast between then and now left Lin Yuan filled with emotion. These two lords, along with their peak path-splitting realm subordinates, haven't completely perished? Do they still possess life-saving contingencies? Lin Yuan briefly followed the trail of causal sensing. This was entirely expected. Let alone peak path-splitting realm beings. Even those who had just entered the path-splitting realm could set up life-saving mechanisms. Why were Chaos Venerables notoriously hard to kill? It was because even great saints struggled to obliterate all of a Venerable's life-saving contingencies. Yet, through their profound understanding of causality, Chaos Venerables could effortlessly eliminate all life-saving measures of Lord Realm experts if they so desired. This was precisely why Lord Realm experts felt so fearful and submissive before Venerables. Within a fragment of an asteroid drifting in the Chaos Void, a figure swiftly condensed. It was Bloodshade Lord. In this fragmentary asteroid, he had left a life-saving contingency. Whenever his true body perished, he could resurrect here. I actually died at the hands of a Venerable. Bloodshade Lord's heart sank, chilled to the core. He had no time to ponder why a Venerable would emerge from within the universe. I'm going to die. Bloodshade Lord was utterly despairing. If a Chaos Venerable so wished, they could entirely erase all his resurrection mechanisms through causal connections. Thus, when Bloodshade Lord resurrected, he was already prepared for complete annihilation. Yet, after waiting in hopeless dread for half a day, Bloodshade Lord discovered he hadn't died. Could it be that the Venerable finds me beneath notice?
Bloodshade Lord heaved a bitter sigh of relief. Erasing a Lord Realm expert's life-saving contingencies through causality was an onerous task, even for Chaos Venerables. Sar the novel _At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If no resentment was involved, Chaos Venerables typically didn't bother. Leave, immediately leave this void. Without hesitation, Bloodshade Lord bolted, flying away from Lin Yuan's position at great speed. The causal link between him and Lin Yuan would blur with increasing distance.
To the Bloodshade Lord, he was nothing more than an ant before the Venerable.
If the Venerable couldn't see him, they likely wouldn't bother acting. But if the causal proximity were too close, there was no guarantee Lin Yuan wouldn't suddenly decide to eliminate him out of convenience. Thus, to live longer, Bloodshade Lord could only keep away from Lin Yuan. Leave, he'll never again approach this void. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1028 New Homeland, New Era, end of this volume, asking for monthly pass. Under 3 the Blood Resonant Sovereign's thoughts spread out, filled with both a sense of relief and fear. Chaos Void. Lin Yuan gazed quietly at his home universe. As complete annihilation unfolded, the entire universe abruptly collapsed inward, forming a dim gray sphere of energy. This energy sphere appeared fragile to the eye, but it was utterly indestructible in reality, protected by the operational rules of the Chaos Void. Not even the mightiest great saint could harm it in the slightest. It's time to head to the ancient Ming Chaos Continent. After bidding farewell to his home universe on its final journey, Lin Yuan turned and left without hesitation. He had long prepared a new home for humanity on the ancient Ming Chaos Continent. Now, all that was left was to bring them there. Several months later, outside the ancient Ming Chaos Continent, Lin Yuan's figure appeared. Finally arrived. Lin Yuan looked toward the distant and flourishing Chaos Continent. The relocation of the ancient Ming Chaos Continent to this void had, if anything, made trade even more prosperous, attracting numerous powerful beings from surrounding regions. Concealing his aura, Lin Yuan activated the 13th rank inheritance, Infinite Void, the ultimate foundational legacy. The universe within him was unparalleled. With just a single thought, he could suppress all his energy, making it impossible even for a Chaos Venerable to detect him. Soon, Lin Yuan entered the star-tier fragment world. Swoosh! With a wave of his right hand, Lin Yuan released 9 supreme beings of humanity from the universe within his body. Where is this? The Shen Yuan Supreme cautiously surveyed the surroundings. Only after spotting Lin Yuan did he relax. Moments ago, they had been in Lin Yuan's internal universe, their anxiety palpable, fearing that their presence might interfere with Lin Yuan's navigation through the cosmic cataclysm. Now that they saw Lin Yuan again, their hearts finally settled. This is the new home of human civilization. Lin Yuan introduced with a smile, addressing the 9 supreme beings. A new home. The new home of human civilization? The Shen Yuan Supreme, the Xianxia Supreme, and the other 7 looked around with great interest. This place. The 9 supreme beings became increasingly impressed. Though the star-tier fragment world was far smaller than the main universe in size, every corner here was inhabitable. Even if the population of human civilization surged 10-fold or 100-fold, it would still accommodate them. I can sense that this world emanates a particularly gentle energy. The Xianxia Supreme appeared thoughtful. While this gentle force held little value for those at the 12th Dao realm, and indeed for those at the 9th, 10th, or 11th ranks, it was immensely nourishing for 2nd and 3rd rank ascendants, especially newborn human citizens. Galaxy. This place must not have come cheap, the Xianxia Supreme cautiously inquired. Over the past centuries, he had discussed the matter of humanity's new home with Lin Yuan and was aware of the star-tier fragment world's market price. As things stood, this star-tier fragment world, whether in terms of size or environment, was undoubtedly top-tier. Coupled with the fact that it lay within the formation-protected range of the ancient Ming Chaos Continent, and under the protection of the ancient Ming Venerable, its price was surely exorbitant. Even the Xianxia Supreme, with no deep understanding of market intricacies, knew that this star-tier fragment world cost far more than humanity's allocated budget. It's fine. Lin Yuan waved his hand casually, dismissing the concern. This fragment world had been acquired essentially for free. Lin Yuan naturally had no intention of demanding 1,200,000 chaos stones from the Xianyuan Supreme. After all, the ownership of the star-tier fragment world was registered entirely in his name, as his private property. Setting aside a portion of it for humanity's citizens to reside in was a trivial matter. Since Lin Yuan did not clarify, the Xianyuan Supreme and the other 8 supreme beings of human civilization became more convinced that Lin Yuan had stretched his personal resources, believing he had purchased this fragment world through tireless scrimping, perhaps even incurring some level of debt. This star-tier fragment world. While humanity cannot afford it now, it must not remain unpaid for, nor can we inhabit it freely. The 9 of us 12th Dao realm practitioners only need to work diligently, steadily accumulating chaos stones bit by bit. If 1 cosmic era isn't enough, then 2 cosmic eras, or 3. Exchanging glances, the Xianyuan Supreme and the other 8 supreme beings came to a silent agreement in their hearts. The debt humanity already owed Lin Yuan was immeasurable. Without him, the recent universal destruction would have spelled humanity's end. Not only had humanity avoided destruction, but Lin Yuan had also provided them with this near-perfect new home. The Xianyuan Supreme, for one, could not simply take this as Lin Yuan's responsibility. After conferring briefly with the 9 supreme beings, Lin Yuan began transferring an unending stream of citizens from his internal universe to the star-tier fragment world. So, this is the place we'll be living from now on? A third-rank ascendant gazed around curiously. Compared to the sight of countless stars suspended in a cosmic void, this new world felt unified and filled with a soothing energy that uplifted the soul. Swoosh! More and more citizens of humanity emerged in the star-tier fragment world. At the same time, a swarm of intelligent machines descended, immediately beginning the physical labor necessary to rebuild human civilization. The star-tier fragment world, though naturally rich in resources, was still too primitive. It required careful adaptation to align with the modern lifestyle of human citizens. From a higher vantage point, Lin Yuan, the Xianyuan Supreme, and the Xiaqin Supreme watched the star-tier fragment world from afar. Countless intelligent machines and human citizens worked hand in hand, undertaking the fiery and fevered task of reconstruction. In a matter of months, we'll have transformed this place into a livable environment. By 6 months, everything should be running smoothly, and within 2 years, the virtual network world will be fully integrated. By then, life here will be indistinguishable from life in the universe, the Feather Butterfly Supreme remarked. The reconstruction of human civilization had, in fact, already gone through numerous rehearsals. No major problems were anticipated. From now on, human civilization will take root in this world, the ancient Power Supreme said with a smile. Humanity is about to step into a new era, an era interconnected with the Chaos Void, the Void God Ultimate being added, standing nearby. Lin Yuan's face lit up with a gentle smile. A new home, a new era. The history of human civilization was entering an entirely new chapter. Search ** the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The 61 million years of the Starry Sea era had finally become a thing of the past. P.S. 10,000 word update. Please send your monthly votes if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1029 A Simple Retreat. Vote for monthly ticket, in just 10 months. The fragmented world of Starlight Tears was completely transformed from top to bottom. Various futuristic and technologically advanced buildings sprang up, and the virtual world network was fully implemented. Throughout the process, everything proceeded smoothly. At the same time, internal trade within human civilization was re-established, even extending to trade routes with ancient Ming's Chaos Continent. The countless human citizens of this new home felt that apart from the absence of a visible starry sky, their life here was no different from life within the vast universe. In fact, it was even better and more comfortable. This is the house allocated for me to live in? It's so spacious, and it's completely free? Our new home is managed by the government, which allocates housing, jobs, medical services, and education. It's incredible. Yes, honestly, I thought migrating to a new home would mean starting from scratch and living a difficult life.
The citizens settling into the fragmented world of Starlight Tiers adapted quickly, primarily because the benefits and welfare not only remained, but were significantly improved. And more crucially, my son was just born, and he has evolutionary talents. He'll become an evolver in the future. My daughter does as well. All of yours? My grandson's test results showed his evolutionary talents are pretty good too. The world of Starlight Tiers was imbued with a gentle force unique to its fragmented world, greatly benefiting the process of life creation, including but not limited to enhancing the potential of newborns and extending lifespans. In the universe, countless citizens are required to produce even one individual with evolutionary talent, but here in this fragmented world, almost every newborn carried such talents to varying degrees. The emergence of vast numbers of foundational evolvers increased the probability of mid-level and high-level evolvers being born, thus creating a virtuous cycle where the development of human civilization would far outpace that within the universe. The newly established core of human civilization. Lin Yuan was discussing with 9 ultimate beings how to deal with those aliens who had entirely pledged themselves to human civilization. Under the universal cataclysm, many aliens who hadn't been integrated into their respective 12 layers inner universe opted to fully surrender to human civilization in a desperate bid for survival. These aliens fought against human civilization for so many years. What should we do with them now? Asked the Void God Ultimate Being. In my opinion, we should just sell them. If I remember correctly, Ancient Ming's Chaos Continent has a demand for this, the Ancient Power Supreme Being spoke bluntly. He harbored little goodwill toward these aliens. Were it not for Lin Yuan, he wouldn't have bothered saving them at all. S.E. the novel, F. Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. They're all life forms below 12 layers. Even if sold to merchants, they wouldn't fetch much, the Feather Butterfly Supreme Being remarked. Why not cultivate them instead to make them an asset for human civilization? Right now, in this chaos void, our civilization is still weak. We need to pool all resources for development. The various peak ethnic groups across the universe, having engaged in prolonged conflict with human civilization, undoubtedly possess strengths worth leveraging. Added to that was their mutual familiarity, making them relatively convenient to utilize. That could work. However, the resources allocated for their development should be limited. I wouldn't want to see these aliens regain their strength and oppose us again in the future. Regain their strength? With the galaxy in play, what could they use to stage a resurgence? True. Still, even so, restrictions are necessary. The 9 ultimate beings quickly reached a consensus. The plan was to allocate certain resources to these aliens, aiding their development and ultimately fostering the collective progression of human civilization. Different peak ethnic groups possessed unique advantages. Take the insect race, for example, the most fiercely combative alien race against human civilization. Their queens could birth countless insect race warriors, who could easily serve as expendable forces for exploring dangerous regions. As for deploying intelligent machines for exploration, Chaos Void's numerous perilous areas often disrupted machines, causing malfunctions. Of course, any cultivation efforts by human civilization would be limited purely to the new generation of aliens. The older generation of alien strong ones remained tightly restricted. Galaxy, how do you plan to handle those 12 layers ones? The Shen Yuan Supreme looked curiously toward Lin Yuan for answers. Them. Lin Yuan smiled faintly. They've all already been bound with prohibitions. Let's leave it for later. Bringing these 12 layers aliens out was a decision Lin Yuan made casually. Even without doing so, the universal origin source consciousness would have done everything to obstruct him anyway. Besides, bringing these 12 layers aliens with him also served to prevent any leakage of information about him. Lin Yuan's growth speed within the universe was astonishing even by Chaos Void standards. These 12 layers aliens knew too much, and letting them go with loose tongues would pose a security risk. Speaking of which, there's one more matter. The Shen Yuan Supreme smiled and said, I remember Galaxy mentioning that within Ancient Ming's Chaos Continent, there's a place specializing in the trade of 12 layers evolutionary pathways? Indeed. Lin Yuan nodded. When Lin Yuan had first arrived at Ancient Ming's Chaos Continent, he learned of this. The 10,000 Paths Pavilion offered desired 12 layers evolutionary pathways. The 10,000 Paths Pavilion ensured that these 12 layers pathways were unobstructed by ultimate existences, allowing unhindered progress. Its background was unfathomably vast. Even the pavilion in ancient Ming's Chaos Continent was merely a branch, and its influence spanned multiple Chaos continents. We're planning to purchase several 12 layers evolutionary pathways. The Xianyuan Supreme exchanged looks with the other 8 ultimate beings, revealing their plans. Purchase 12 layers evolutionary pathways? Lin Yuan speculated on their rationale. Numerous human civilization evolvers entering Chaos Void gradually transitioned their life essence into the mainstream timelines of Chaos Void. With the environmental ceiling raised, many 11th level perfected evolvers were gearing up to make their ultimate leaps, attempting to step into 12 layers. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1030A Simple Retreat, asking for monthly votes. _2 Actually, the difficulty of reaching the ultimate evolution and crossing into the 12th tier in the Chaos Void is lower than crossing into the 12th tier within the universe. The Time River of the Chaos Void has little backlash against life forms attempting ultimate evolution, greatly increasing the likelihood of success. This is precisely the reason the 9 supreme beings of human civilization have considered this possibility. So far, human civilization's existing 12th tier evolutionary path is singular, but cultivating along this path is extremely troublesome. More 12th tier evolutionary paths need to be developed. Understood. SAR the Novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lin Yuan nodded, keeping this matter close to heart. When the time comes, you, Galaxy, will help us purchase the necessary items. The expenses will come out of the human civilization treasury. The Xianyuan Supreme said. As for why they did not purchase the items themselves, the 9 supreme beings of human civilization are far less discerning and insightful than Lin Yuan, unable to properly evaluate the strengths and drawbacks of a true 12th tier evolutionary path. Thus, they entrusted Lin Yuan with this task. Rather than risk choosing wrongly themselves and regretting it, it's better to leave the judgment and decisions to Lin Yuan. This is not urgent. You can do it whenever you deem fit, Galaxy. The Xianyuan Supreme said in a relaxed tone. Even in the Chaos Void, matters concerning ultimate evolution carry great importance. Waiting thousands or tens of thousands of years is entirely normal. At the deepest point of the fragment world of star tiers, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. This fragment world was first purchased as Lin Yuan's private cultivation abode. Only secondarily did it become the new home for human civilization. Naturally, Lin Yuan held the highest level of authority here. Martial Arts Evolution Road. Lin Yuan examined himself, as well as the path he had traversed in the past. So far, the Martial Tao Evolution Road had been developed up to the 12th tier, Opening the Path, chapter. As for the Domination chapter, it was still being refined and had not yet been fully established. However, this time Lin Yuan went into solitary cultivation not to continue perfecting the Domination chapter, but to attempt an expansion of the breadth of the Martial Arts Evolution Road. Precisely speaking, it was to establish several branching paths for the Martial Arts Evolution Road. Each of these branches would independently constitute a 12th tier path, yet all would take Martial Tao as the foundation and extend into distinct directions. The Great Tao is endless. Even the same Tao is not fixed. It can diverge into numerous branches, all leading to the same destination. Lin Yuan contemplated inwardly, with reflections upon Martial Tao constantly emerging in his mind. Establishing new branches for Martial Tao was an idea Lin Yuan had conceived ever since crossing into the 12th tier. It was just that he had never had the time to actualize it. Under the pressures of universal catastrophe, everything Lin Yuan had focused on over the past centuries was directed at the most immediate ways of enhancing his own foundation and combat strength. As for branching Martial Tao, it had no immediate effect on his Martial Tao cultivation or on himself. Thus, it hadn't been on Lin Yuan's priority list of must-do tasks. Now that a new home for human civilization had been found and all matters were proceeding systematically, Lin Yuan was able to rest briefly and begin considering this matter. Branching the Martial Tao road may indeed have little short-term impact, but over a longer timeline, its significance would become immense and simply impossible to overlook. Even crossing into the 12th tier via different branches, the essence would still be rooted in the Martial Tao evolution road, allowing Lin Yuan to reap the myriad benefits that arise from establishing branching paths and creating more 12th tier beings. During ultimate evolution, countless cultivators of Martial Tao evolution road called out to Lin Yuan from the depths of the void, ensuring his spiritual will did not collapse, ultimately enabling him to easily pass through the heart demon world born from the primary tributary of the Time River.
And this anchor point effect is certainly not confined to ultimate evolution.
Perhaps one day, when Lin Yuan's true form, avatars, and manifestations have all perished, even when his consciousness in the source world has fallen, if his spirit sinks into boundless darkness and remains trapped within death, these calls will still reverberate,
helping Lin Yuan lock onto anchor points and forcefully return.
The wider-reaching cultivation of martial Tao evolution road by living beings, and the greater number of strong practitioners arising from it, will only amplify these calls, rendering them irresistible, even transcending space and time itself. In fact, the martial Tao I established has long laid the groundwork for numerous branching paths. Lin Yuan meditated cross-legged, flashes of inspiration continually bursting in his mind. Starting from the second layer of martial Tao, differentiation within martial Tao had already begun. Lin Yuan used Yin-Yang Taiji as the core of his own martial Tao foundation, while other martial Tao cultivators might choose entirely different cores for their martial Tao foundation. For instance, martial arts evolutionaries adept at the power of gold could readily use golden power as the basis of their martial Tao foundation. By the time they reach the fifth layer, evolving golden power into the golden primordial spirit, which would ultimately grant insight into the golden rules. And so on. Starting from the second layer of martial Tao, it encompassed all things, with countless paths accessible within the martial Tao cultivation system. From the 2nd to 11th layer of martial Tao, martial arts evolutionaries had long chosen specialties, following the paths Lin Yuan had carved forward. I created the 12th tier martial Tao based on Taiji Yin and Yang as its root, but other martial Tao cultivators can absolutely base their pathways on their own choices to achieve their 12th tier.
Lin Yuan's eyes shone brightly with vigor.
In this way, the potential of martial Tao would grow to unprecedented levels, theoretically allowing it to branch indefinitely and give rise to countless martial Tao 12th tier practitioners. First, I will establish the simplest martial Tao 5 elements branches. Lin Yuan began to delve into deeper insights. The first would be the branch of gold. Gold signifies sharpness and cutting edge, shattering all barriers. This martial Tao branch, though somewhat extreme, was more than sufficient to ascend to the 12th tier. Your unparalleled insight enables you to newly establish and perfect the martial Tao evolution road, completing the metal martial arts branch. Your unparalleled insight enables you to newly establish and perfect the martial Tao evolution road, completing the wood martial arts branch. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, rapport,
so we can fix it as soon as possible.
Chapter 1031A Simple Retreat, Seeking Monthly Tickets. Under 3. Your perception defies the heavens, recomprehending the evolution pathway of the martial Tao, perfecting the water martial arts. Most of Lin Yuan's mind was focused on this, and the perfection and development of various branches of the martial Tao had a great impact on him. As the ancestor of martial arts, even if he hadn't traversed these paths, he could wield them as if they were an extension of his arm. If these branches are perfected using the power of the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire and earth, their potential will undoubtedly be great.
Lin Yuan thought.
The rotation of the 5 elements is almost flawless, and it balances destruction and creation. But wanting to comprehend gold, wood, water, fire and earth, and master these 5 forces at the 2nd layer? Condensing the 5 elements primordial spirit at the 5th layer?
The difficulty is too high.
If it were within the universe, Lin Yuan even doubted whether such a genius existed, but in the chaos void? With the bloodlines of various spectacular life forms rampant, and with many monstrous talents, there is still hope of traversing this path. Those who step into the 12th level of martial Tao through the 5 elements martial arts, their combat power, upon initially entering the path-splitting realm, would likely be close to its peak. Of course, this path is very difficult, requiring not only the comprehension of the 5 elements at the 2nd layer but also the cultivation of the 5 elements primordial spirit, the 5 elements rules, and so on. Lin Yuan earnestly perfected the branch path of the 5 elements martial arts, not minding what future 5 elements martial arts cultivators might pose as a threat to him. Firstly, with Lin Yuan's innate talent and aptitude, on the same level of cultivation, he believes no life could compare to him. Even more so with those who come after? While they take one step, Lin Yuan would have already moved 10, 100 steps forward. How can there be any comparison? Moreover, Lin Yuan's combat power and foundation are not limited to martial Tao alone. Even if there are martial cultivators who break the ironclad rules and also tread the Yin-Yang Taiji path.
In the same realm, they would still be crushed by Lin Yuan. The same path, but is the cosmic foundation within the body the same? Lin Yuan's path-splitting realm internal universe is on par with the Chaos Venerable. There are countless rules comprehended, secret techniques and so on. There's simply no competition. More crucially, as the ancestor of martial arts and the founder of this great Tao of martial arts, Lin Yuan inherently wields an indescribable, unstoppable overcoming power against those who follow in the martial Tao. Just like a mouse meeting a cat, it is naturally suppressed to death.
For example, from the perspective of potential, the 5 elements martial arts, the cycle of the 5 elements is not much inferior to the yin-yang taiji. But with all other external conditions identical, like realm strength, inner world, numerous rule insights, secret techniques, divine skills, and so on, being equal, the 5 elements martial arts evolutionary would still be crushed by Lin Yuan. The reason for being crushed here is that in front of Lin Yuan, the martial arts cultivator's full strength cannot be brought out, being innately suppressed and constrained. In equal strength, even if the opponent is stronger than Lin Yuan, as long as they are based on martial Tao, branching into endless paths, they would be thoroughly suppressed by Lin Yuan, without any power to resist. Space martial arts. Lin Yuan began to develop and perfect the corresponding branch of martial arts based on space. Compared to the smooth development of various martial arts branches previously, Lin Yuan clearly encountered bottleneck difficulties in perfecting space martial arts. If one were to develop a martial arts branch based on space? Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, lost in thought. Space is too vast, yet also too flimsy. Lin Yuan thought to himself, and there was another point he hadn't mentioned, which was that the difficulty is too high. To base it on space means mastering the power of space at the second layer of martial Tao. A second layer martial arts evolutionary, who hasn't even fully grasped and developed the power of their physical body and soul, let alone comprehend and master the power of space? As for condensing the space primordial spirit at the 5th layer, it requires a certain level of understanding of space power. Otherwise, how could one control the power of space to condense the space primordial spirit? Space martial arts will be temporarily shelved. There's no need to develop it. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly, mainly because the threshold for this martial arts branch is too high. The life forms that can master the power of space at the 2nd layer must have a certain pure space bloodline. Such beings are too rare. Simply put, the general accessibility of space martial arts is not high, far from being as simple and introductory as ordinary metal martial arts or water martial arts. Time martial arts? Lin Yuan began to experiment with more. Compared to space martial arts, the difficulty of time martial arts soared another level, and Lin Yuan had no intention of perfecting this branch. He's merely pondering the deeper essence of martial Tao through this martial arts branch. Space martial arts, time martial arts. Then what about space-time martial arts? Lin Yuan's interest was piqued, as time and space began to intertwine before him. With space-time as the foundation, the potential of the martial arts branch extended from this is vast, but this martial arts path is almost impossible to even get started. Space-time. Lin Yuan pondered the feasibility of space-time martial arts and the application of space-time, and his thoughts immediately shifted from martial arts to space-time. Suddenly, countless accumulated insights into space-time erupted explosively. Thousands of years of space-time comprehension in the main universe, Xianxia the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Clear observation of space-time fluctuations within the source world, and after entering the chaos void, sensing the vast space-time of the boundless chaos void. Your perception defies the heavens, penetrating analogy, reaching the eightfold realm in space-time comprehension. In an instant, the vast space-time of the chaos void began to slowly clear up before Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan looked down, with the vast ancient Ming chaos continent fully in view, and even Lin Yuan's gaze faintly looked toward the deepest part of the ancient Ming chaos continent, where a chaotic aura figure was enclosed. Cultivation. Is it the ancient Ming venerable? Lin Yuan's expression was contemplative, and he immediately stopped paying attention. With the perception of a chaos venerable, continuing to watch is highly likely to be noticed. What an unexpected delight. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. I didn't expect that in this retreat to perfect and develop martial arts branches, I would end up comprehending the eightfold realm of spacetime? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1032 10,000 Laws and Paths, Requesting Monthly Tickets. Deep within the chaos continent of ancient Ming.
Who is spying on me? Ancient Ming Venerable opened his eyes, his expression flickering with astonishment. It must be some passing venerable. Ancient Ming Venerable immediately sensed the prying gaze retreating swiftly, and speculated inwardly. To be able to see through the layers of formations within the Chaos Continent, and locate the place where he was in closed-door training. The opponent's mastery of spacetime must at least be at the 8th realm. Just arrived in this void and perhaps piqued the curiosity of nearby venerables who came to investigate? Ancient Ming Venerable speculated inwardly. The comprehension of the 8th realm of spacetime already belongs to the domain of seasoned Chaos Venerables. Ordinary newly advanced Chaos Venerables still remain at the peak of the 7th realm in spacetime mastery. Fragment World of Star Tier. Lin Yuan was using the insights of the 8th realm of spacetime, constantly observing the spacetime around him. Whether it is the distance traveled through the void or the mastery of spacetime, both have improved significantly. Lin Yuan marveled inwardly, with the primary takeaway being that, in the future, when facing enemies at the venerable level, he would no longer be suppressed in the spacetime domain. Mastery in the realm of spacetime was akin to having the initiative. Offense or retreat could be controlled. I wonder what the 9th realm of spacetime would be like. Lin Yuan wondered silently. The 8th realm of spacetime is a level only accessible to Chaos Venerables, while the 9th realm belongs to the domain of Chaos Great Saints or even Peerless Great Saints. As a Peerless Great Saint, Xianxia has the power to open 33,333 Xianxia secret realms scattered across different universes, primarily relying on the peak comprehension of the 9th realm of spacetime. This session of closed-door training can be considered finished. Lin Yuan gathered his thoughts. Despite reaching the 8th realm in spacetime mastery, he felt no trace of arrogance. The insight of the 8th realm only allowed him to face Chaos Venerables with ease. But what if it was a Chaos Great Saint? Lin Yuan still vividly remembered the obliteration of his home universe in the aftermath of the battle between the Shadow Demon Great Saint and the 9 Phoenix Great Saint. Search * the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. From beginning to end, he hadn't even seen traces of the 2 great saints themselves. The residual power fluctuations from their clash alone sufficed to erase everything, instilling in Lin Yuan a deep sense of helplessness. With my current foundation, if I were to ascend into the Master Realm, even if I still wouldn't be able to rival a great saint, I would at least have some degree of self-preservation, wouldn't I? No longer an ant that could be casually crushed by a great saint? Lin Yuan speculated inwardly. The leap from the path-splitting realm to the Master Realm is a major cross-tier progression within the 12 layers of cultivation, marking a qualitative transformation in combat power. For Lin Yuan, the same principle applies. At that point, the infinite void and other subsequent realms could continue to be cultivated. The Master Realm. It's close. Lin Yuan felt the distance between his physical body and soul nearing their peak, silently pondering to himself. This session of closed-door training, achieving the insight of the 8th realm of spacetime, can be considered an unexpected fortune. Lin Yuan's mind surfaced with the many martial Tao subpaths he had just opened and perfected, 73 martial Tao subpaths in total. Theoretically, these 73 subpaths can each lead to the 12th layer. Lin Yuan felt quite pleased inwardly. The more martial Tao subpaths, the wider the scope of the martial Tao itself. If it weren't for the vastness, how could so many paths be established? The muddy small paths, no matter how they are extended, could never become a grand avenue leading to transcendence. Those people from Xuanyuan's side asked me to buy some 12th layer evolution paths. Why would I need to buy them? Aren't they already readily available? Lin Yuan's face showed a faint smile. 73 martial Tao subpaths leading directly to the 12th layer were more than sufficient for human civilization to use for countless years to come. Actually, if I continued the closed-door training, I could further perfect and forge more martial Tao subpaths. But there's no need to do so. Lin Yuan thought inwardly. The core of martial Tao's evolution lies in the fundamental avenue. Once the pathway of many subpaths is opened, various subpaths will continuously emerge. Lin Yuan merely needed to guide them along the way. Once you master is looking for me? Lin Yuan's expression shifted slightly, immediately dividing off an incarnation to leave the fragment world of Star Tier and head toward the chaos continent of ancient Ming. In Mingchuan City, within a pavilion, Lin Yuan and Wansu Master sat facing each other. Galaxy brother, I did not fail you. Wansu Master smiled and said while looking at Lin Yuan.
Since ancient Ming Venerable personally issued the order last time to nearly give away the fragment world of Star Tier to Lin Yuan, once you master realized that Lin Yuan's origins might be deeply terrifying. Later on, once you master sought an audience with ancient Ming Venerable, intending to probe into Lin Yuan's background. In the end, ancient Ming Venerable only left him with one warning. If you offend Galaxy, the entire Chaos Continent will be annihilated. Once you master still remembered clearly the expression ancient Ming Venerable had when he made that statement, filled with boundless dread and fear. It was precisely because of this that once you master had been fulfilling all of Lin Yuan's requests during this time. Ha ha ha, many thanks. Lin Yuan said cheerfully. Not long ago, he had requested once you master to help sell 18 Master Realm level extraordinary trees obtained from Cong Wei Yang Sr., hoping to exchange them for specific cultivation resources or chaos stones. These 18 extraordinary trees bore spirit fruits periodically, and were tantamount to money trees for a force, with the potential for continued inheritance. But for Lin Yuan, they were somewhat redundant. The fruiting cycle of the 18 extraordinary trees started at a minimum of 1 million years, and within that time frame, considering Lin Yuan's rate of growth by the next million years, he might very well have already ascended to the Chaos Realm. From the perspective of a Chaos Venerable, the 18 extraordinary trees were insignificant, let alone the spirit fruits they bore. These 18 extraordinary trees weren't the world tree nurtured by Lin Yuan's inner universe, which has the effect of stabilizing his inner cosmos. And their potential is quite high, having the capability to grow into chaos trees. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1033 The Myriad Laws and Paths, Seeking Monthly Pass. Under so Lin Yuan had stayed until now. The greatest use of these 18 unique trees for Lin Yuan was to comprehend the technique of absorbing and expelling chaos chi through them. These are the resource materials needed by Galaxy, and I exchanged them effortlessly. Once you Dominator waved his hand, and a purple cloth bag appeared before him, clearly a storage treasure, containing the resource materials Lin Yuan required. In truth, he didn't make any profit in this transaction and even suffered a slight loss. But as long as he could establish good relations with Lin Yuan, according to ancient Ming Venerable's instructions, no cost was too high. Lin Yuan received the purple cloth bag, extended his mental energy to scan its contents briefly, and then put it away with satisfaction. By the way, I'd like to ask you about something. Lin Yuan said. What asking? Galaxy. Just say what you want to know. Once you Dominator immediately replied. What is the origin of the 10,000 Paths Pavilion? Lin Yuan inquired. The intelligence left behind by the elder Cong Wei Yang regarding the 10,000 Paths Pavilion was somewhat vague. After all, elder Cong Wei Yang was merely at the peak of the Dominator realm. But once you Dominator, while also at the peak of the Dominator realm, was a disciple of Chaos Venerable and had been handling affairs related to the fragmented worlds of ancient Ming's Chaos Continent for many years. In terms of access to inside information, he was undoubtedly far more resourceful than the solitary entity Cong Wei Yang. In addition, the lineage of Xianxia had some understanding of the 10,000 Paths Pavilion, but the information was so ancient that it likely couldn't match what a Venerable's disciple might know. The 10,000 Paths Pavilion? Once you Dominator was mildly startled. Galaxy, are you curious about the 10,000 Paths Pavilion? Somewhat. Sir, the novel _At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lin Yuan admitted frankly. A faction that thrived on trading evolution pathways surely had a significant origin, but he wanted to learn more about its specifics. The 10,000 Paths Pavilion, its full name is Myriad Laws and Paths Pavilion, earns its livelihood through the trade of evolution pathways. Whether you want to buy or sell evolution pathways, you can do so through the 10,000 Paths Pavilion. Once you Dominator's tone became considerably heavier as he continued. But one thing, never cause trouble at the 10,000 Paths Pavilion. Otherwise, even Master may not be able to save you. Even a Venerable couldn't save someone? Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. This Chaos Continent was ancient Ming Venerable's domain. Ancient Ming Venerable was the sole heaven here. Could it be that even ancient Ming Venerable couldn't rescue someone causing trouble at the 10,000 Paths Pavilion? That's right. Once you Dominator nodded. What we see as the 10,000 Paths Pavilion are merely branch pavilions. As for the main pavilion of the 10,000 Paths Pavilion, No one knows where it is located, hidden in the mysterious recesses of the Chaos Void, accessible only to invited distinguished guests. And within every branch pavilion of the 10,000 Paths Pavilion exists a projection of the Eye of Myriad Laws. The Eye of Myriad Laws is the true overseer of the 10,000 Paths Tower. It is supremely impartial and incorruptible. Normally, the projection of the Eye of Myriad Laws remains dormant, only activated when validating an ambiguous evolution pathway. Once you Dominator glanced at Lin Yuan and lowered his voice. Even a mere projection of the Eye of Myriad Laws is enough to make a Chaos Great Saint wary.
A projection? Lin Yuan was secretly alarmed. Merely a projection held such power. Zuan Huang's conjecture about the 10,000 Paths Pavilion, suspected to be the contingency plan of a 13th-layer time-life being, likely had some truth. In planning to disseminate evolution pathway routes. Can the 10,000 Paths Pavilion assist in that process? Lin Yuan revealed his true intent. After establishing numerous branches of the Martial Tao evolution pathway, Lin Yuan once again placed the dissemination of the Martial Tao evolution pathway onto his agenda. And the inheritance of Martial Tao evolution pathways naturally wouldn't be limited to the confines of human civilization. Lin Yuan hoped for the Martial Tao evolution pathways to be spread throughout the Chaos Void, across numerous chaotic continents. As long as your evolution pathways meet the criteria of the Eye of Myriad Laws, you can use the 10,000 Paths Pavilion to disseminate them. Once you Dominator shook his head and said, though that's extremely hard to achieve. Evolution pathways that the 10,000 Paths Pavilion actively disseminates are exceedingly rare. Understood. Lin Yuan nodded. After chatting briefly with Once You Dominator, Lin Yuan rose and took his leave. In the fragmented worlds of Star Tiers, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, with a purple cloth bag hovering before him, containing the resource materials acquired from selling 13 unique trees. Song Weiyang Elder. Lin Yuan's mind conjured the image of a rounded figure, the imprint he had once found in the dwelling left by Song Weiyang. The Myriad Manifestations Void Domain. Stone People Tribe. Back then, the imprint of Song Weiyang Elder had freely given all treasures to Lin Yuan, leaving only one request. That was, if Lin Yuan had the capability in the future, to visit the Myriad Manifestations Void Domain and take a disciple from the Stone People Tribe. This request was optional for Lin Yuan. Song Weiyang hadn't imposed any obligations, leaving it entirely up to Lin Yuan's discretion. The Myriad Manifestations Void Domain should be in that direction. Lin Yuan glanced in a certain direction, contemplating. The Chaos Void was suffused with endless chaos qi, sometimes thick, sometimes thin. Regions with thick chaos qi were favorable for cultivation and thus labeled void domains. As for regions with thin chaos qi, they supported far fewer permanent lifeforms and were collectively termed desolate zones. Lin Yuan currently resided in the Divine Wind Void Domain. The Myriad Manifestations Void Domain was not far from the Divine Wind Void Domain, separated by only 2 or 3 void domains. Normally, a Dominator Realm expert, flying continuously for several decades, could traverse one void domain. The Stone People Tribe? Lin Yuan mused. The Stone People Tribe was the very group to which Elder Song Weiyang belonged. Back then, Elder Song Weiyang had left his tribe to roam various void domains, eventually ascending to the Dominator realm and reaching its peak. Elder Song Weiyang's reason for making this request likely stemmed from concerns that his tribe might face extinction after his demise. According to Elder Song Weiyang, the Stone People Tribe was rather weak, with only 4 or 5 path-splitting realm members besides himself. Fine. I'll dispatch an avatar to visit the Myriad Manifestations Void Domain. Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred, and in the chaos void outside ancient Ming's chaos continent, chaos qi converged into a figure, swiftly heading toward the Myriad Manifestations Void Domain. After reaching the 8th realm of space-time mastery, Lin Yuan's control over the distance his avatar could maintain had vastly improved. Covering the distance between 2 or 3 void domains, or even 20 or 30 void domains, was easily achievable. The insights of the 8th realm of spacetime, a level only attainable by one's own venerable, had enabled this breakthrough. Dispatching an avatar to fulfill Elder Song Weiyang's request was a mere triviality for Lin Yuan. Although Elder Song Weiyang hadn't imposed any restrictions, Lin Yuan had no desire to exploit this opportunity for personal gain. After all, the many treasures and weapons left behind by Elder Song Weiyang had served as Lin Yuan's first pot of gold in exploring the Chaos Void, providing invaluable assistance. Lin Yuan naturally wouldn't ignore this. Of course, the most crucial point was that fulfilling Elder Tsong Wayang's request was an easy task. Merely taking on a disciple from the Stone People tribe, not safeguarding them for countless years. Lin Yuan's avatar could complete the task quickly, and with the 8th realm of space-time mastery's speed, it wouldn't take much time. Have Shen Yuan and the others already arrived? Lin Yuan's expression shifted as he sensed Shen Yuan Supreme and 8 other Supremes waiting outside. Putting the purple cloth bag away, Lin Yuan stood and stepped out. Galaxy. Shen Yuan Supreme and the 8 other Supremes looked at Lin Yuan excitedly. You summoned us. Does it mean you've already acquired suitable evolution pathways? Not quite. Lin Yuan shook his head. But it's close. Not quite. Close. Shen Yuan Supreme's expression showed confusion. Those were entirely contradictory statements. Let me show you something. Lin Yuan transmitted the details of the martial Tao evolution pathways with numerous newly developed branches to the 9 Supremes via the virtual world network. What is it? Shen Yuan Supreme looked somewhat expectant. Anything Lin Yuan specifically introduced was bound to be extraordinary. Soon enough, the 9 Supremes had received the martial Tao evolution pathways Lin Yuan shared. Galaxy, isn't this the martial Tao evolution pathway you established? The nearby Ancient Power Supreme had barely scanned the information when he began to speak, but then his expression shifted slightly. Ancient Power Supreme carefully reviewed the material, then fixed a solemn gaze on Lin Yuan, his tone betraying disbelief. Is this a martial Tao evolution pathway? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1034 Global Conflict, Vote for Monthly Pass. This is indeed an evolution pathway for the martial Tao. The Shen Yuan Supreme being standing nearby also read it over several times. Then with a solemn tone he said, however, it is rooted in thunder. I can sense that this thunder martial path has not yet reached the ultimate 12th tier foundation. An evolution pathway signifies a cultivation road. Any 12th tier existence can determine, by careful observation, whether a particular evolution pathway has been cultivated by a 12th tier being. Yet, right now, this Thunder Martial Path evolution pathway is extremely similar to the one pursued by Lin Yuan's Martial Tao evolution pathway, but it doesn't seem to have a 12th tier cultivator. That's correct. This evolution pathway happens to be a side branch of the Martial Tao I've personally developed and refined, and it absolutely has the potential to give rise to new 12th tiers, Lin Yuan said. Incredible. The Ancient Power Supreme being could barely believe it. They had heard before that some extraordinarily vast evolution roads could allow concurrent side branches to coexist, and each could foster new 12th tiers. But such evolution roads are exceptionally rare, requiring extremity in every aspect. Roots and accumulations must reach the utmost limits. Otherwise, if the foundation is inadequate, how can it accommodate additional evolutionary branches? Additionally, these branches must align perfectly with the incredibly dark chaos void and the operating rules and principles of its Tao. Yet, no matter how ideal, if it is not compatible with the Tao of the chaos void, it cannot spawn new branches. It seems that we underestimated the martial Tao in our assessments back then. The Xianxia Supreme being finished reading as well, equally overwhelmed with shock. He could sense that this Thunder Martial Path, even if it were only a side branch of the true martial Tao, already holds greater potential than the 12th tier evolution pathway he had cultivated. CTH Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If a side branch holds such potential, what of the main trunk? Indeed. The Shen Yuan Supreme being nodded. An evolution pathway capable of spawning new branches inherently possesses the potential to transcend into a 13th tier universal Tao. Whether branches can emerge is indiscernible below the 12th tier, Lin Yuan said, shaking his head slightly. It's not something to blame upon the 9 human supreme beings. Even for a chaos venerable, merely examining the martial Tao evolution pathway from the 1st tier chapter to the 11th tier chapter, it's almost impossible to determine whether the martial Tao can give rise to branches. Lin Yuan, are you planning to unveil this Thunder Martial Path to the galaxy's population? Yudi Supreme being probed cautiously. Yes. Lin Yuan nodded. He also longed for the Thunder Martial Path to foster a 12th tier existence. The roots of a great tree do not lie in its towering height or thickness but in the countless intertwined tendrils beneath the surface.
The more strong cultivators there are on the martial Tao branches, the more they will nurture and enrich the martial Tao itself.
That's fantastic.
With this, the human civilization gains the equivalent of another 12th tier evolution pathway. UD Supreme being remarked with some satisfaction. Although the Chaos Void might offer purchasable 12th tier evolution pathways, how could any compare to the reliability of this Thunder Martial path? It's a pity I haven't walked the path of Thunder. Otherwise, I might have directly transitioned to this evolutionary road. The Ancient Power Supreme being sighed heavily. In the universe, any cultivator who has chosen their evolution road, once they reach the 6th tier, finds it exceedingly difficult to shift to another road. But that limitation applies only to evolution practitioners below the 12th tier. For a 12th tier being, wanting to switch to another road simply requires scattering one's Tao. That is, dispersing the cultivated Tao they had established. Of course, no 12th tier being would casually scatter their Tao. The risk is immense. A 12th tier lifeform who disperses their cultivated Tao remains with a 12th tier level of vitality and soul, but without a foundational road, their combat power diminishes to less than 1%, perhaps even to thousandths. Moreover, cultivating another evolutionary road to reach the 12th tier would also demand an immense amount of time. Thus, unless they fall upon an evolutionary road extremely suited to them, no 12th tier existence would willingly scatter their Tao. Even if they did encounter a perfect evolution road, when making the decision to scatter the Tao, they must be extraordinarily cautious. If an enemy were to strike during the dispersal process, the consequences would be disastrous. Actually, this branch is quite appropriate for you, Ancient Power, Lin Yuan said with a slight smile, transmitting the refined martial path of force to the Ancient Power Supreme Being. Lin Yuan had awakened the physical body divine ability mountain lifting early on and held profound insights into the rule of force, naturally allowing the martial Tao to extend into a martial path of force tied to force rules.
This branch. The Ancient Power Supreme Being was slightly dazed. Was there another branch besides the Thunder Martial Path?
But in the next moment, the Ancient Power Supreme Being froze, as all the intricate aspects of the martial path of force poured into his mind. This. The Ancient Power Supreme Being was dumbstruck, muttering to himself, I never imagined the path of force could be pursued this way, could be guided in this manner.
His eyes gleamed brightly.
The way of force isn't merely pure strength. It involves dimensions like time and space. If I had embarked on this cultivation path earlier, I'd likely be nearing the pinnacle of the path-splitting realm now. The Ancient Power Supreme Being was humanity's second Supreme Being to emerge, a contemporary alongside the Shenyuan Supreme Being. All roads lead to the same destination. To step into the Chaos Realm, one must encompass myriad rules and ultimately gestate Chaos rules, Lin Yuan said. While he secluded himself to refine and extend the martial Tao's major branches, Lin Yuan had naturally prioritized considering the evolutionary pathways followed by humanity's 9 Supreme Beings. For instance, the Ancient Power Supreme Being's Path of Force, UD Supreme Being's Dream Tao Path, Xianxia Supreme Being's Dark Tao Path. All 9 Supreme Beings' cultivation paths were encompassed within the branches of the martial Tao. This martial path of force certainly surpasses the evolution pathway Ancient Power cultivates. It also better suits you, the Shenyuan Supreme Being remarked upon reviewing it.
Indeed. Lin Yuan nodded. How could it not suit him?
If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1035 Global Conflict, Vote for Monthly Pass. Under 2, this martial Tao of force was specifically tailored and perfected by Lin Yuan for the Ancient Power Supreme Being. With Lin Yuan's realm, he had already seen through the strengths and weaknesses of the Ancient Power Supreme Being. Using the martial Tao as the foundation, perfecting a martial Tao of force suitable for the Ancient Power Supreme Being is all too simple. After all, it wasn't created out of thin air. Ancient Power, I suggest you transition to practicing this martial Tao of force, said the Xianxia Supreme Being, standing beside him.
I feel the same way.
The Ancient Power Supreme Being's expression was enthusiastic. He then tentatively asked Lin Yuan, Galaxy, may I transition to cultivating this martial Tao of force? This martial Tao of force was proposed by Lin Yuan, and it branched from the path Lin Yuan himself followed. Naturally, before transitioning to practice it, he needed Lin Yuan's approval.
No problem,
Lin Yuan said with a smile. The Ancient Power Supreme Being transitioning to cultivating the martial Tao of force also benefits Lin Yuan greatly. Under normal circumstances, Even if the martial Tao of Force were made publicly available to all citizens of human civilization, no one knows how long it would take to give rise to a practitioner of the 12-layer martial Tao of Force. Having an evolutionary path doesn't necessarily result in the emergence of a 12th layer.
But the ancient power supreme being? He himself is already at the 12th layer.
If he chooses to abandon his path and cultivates the martial Tao of Force again, re-entering the 12th layer will likely pose no bottleneck risks. If ancient power transitions to cultivating the martial Tao of Force, he might become humanity's second path-splitting realm pinnacle-level supreme being, the void god supreme being side. Human civilization's future will grow even stronger.
Don't rush, Lin Yuan said from the side. I've also prepared some additional branches for you all. The Xianyuan Supreme Being, Xiaqin Supreme Being, Feather Butterfly Supreme Being, and the other 8 Supreme Beings were momentarily stunned. Lin Yuan continued to transmit the 8 martial Tao branches such as the Dark Martial Path and Dream Martial Path to them. The 8 Supreme Beings took a deep breath and quickly began reading and analyzing. After a long while, the Xiaqin Supreme Being suddenly opened his eyes, his gaze dark and eerie, then quickly returned to normal. Galaxy, this evolutionary path. The Xiaqin Supreme Being's voice trembled slightly, looking toward Lin Yuan. Dream Martial Path, Phantasm Reality. This evolutionary path could transcend into the domination realm without much issue. The Feather Butterfly Supreme Being's eyes sparkled with unprecedented brilliance. Cultivating it to the extreme, I will transform into a phantasmal life form. Even Chaos Venerables will need considerable effort to deal with me.
Indeed.
The other Supreme Beings nodded in agreement. They too were awed by the martial Tao branches Lin Yuan had transmitted. Galaxy, these? The Xianyuan Supreme Being looked at Lin Yuan, his expression filled with excitement. You can all cultivate them, Lin Yuan said directly. Perfecting and extending specialized martial Tao branches for the 9 Supreme Beings of humanity was entirely a mutually beneficial endeavor. The martial Tao foundation Lin Yuan followed would grow even deeper, and the 9 Supreme Beings of humanity could also reach even higher and further into the future. There are still dozens of martial Tao branches, each of which could serve as an entirely new evolutionary path into the 12th layer. Lin Yuan revealed all the extended and perfected martial Tao branches he had developed. A total of 73 paths. The 9 Supreme Beings exchanged glances, with the shock in their hearts diminishing slightly. At least with the prior examples of Thunder Martial Path and other perfectly tailored branches for the 9 Supreme Beings as a foundation, the addition of dozens of 12th layer branches wasn't something overly unfathomable. Next, Lin Yuan chatted a bit more with the 9 Supreme Beings, as the Xiaqin Supreme Being and Xianyuan Supreme Being began discussions on who would be the first to abandon one's path and transition to cultivating a martial Tao branch. No matter how powerful a 12th layer being is, whether in the path-splitting realm, domination realm, or chaos realm, once they abandon their path, their power will plummet drastically. Hence, humanity's 9 Supreme Beings would never simultaneously abandon their paths. Although humanity possesses Lin Yuan as their pillar of the sea calm, they cannot rely solely on Lin Yuan to handle everything. The result of their discussion determined that, at most, only 2 Supreme Beings would be permitted to abandon their paths in the same period. Before these 2 Supreme Beings re-enter the 12th layer, the remaining 7 Supreme Beings would need to shoulder the responsibility of maintaining the order of human civilization. Unlike other 12th layer beings, humanity's 9 Supreme Beings grew up together from their weaker years, forming an exceptional trust among them, which gave them the courage to be the first to abandon their paths. After all, once they abandon their paths and lose their foundational route, a 12th layer being would possess only their essence but no strength. To other beings at the same level, they would become an extraordinary and unique supreme elixir. No matter if it were consumed or melted down, it would greatly enhance the consumer. After making the martial Tao branches publicly available to humanity, Lin Yuan resumed his secluded cultivation. Refining these resources, my Xianhuang physique should be able to achieve perfection in the domination realm, Lin Yuan said, taking out a purple cloth pouch. Inside were the resources obtained by selling 18 domination realm wonder trees. These materials, coupled with the ones Lin Yuan had accumulated during other times, as well as his spoils from defeating the Serpent Demon Dominator and Blood Guardian Dominator, constituted nearly all his possessions. Serpent Demon Dominator and Blood Guardian Dominator were infamous plunderers, with wealth far exceeding that of ordinary domination realm pinnacle beings. Sir, the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Source World. Qingfen Domain. Sky Burning Court. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged in the 13th level chamber, continuing his cultivation methodically. Becoming the disciple of Lord Qingfen offers far better treatment than staying in the Yu family, Lin Yuan thought to himself. It wasn't that he thought the Yu family was inadequate, but under Lord Qingfen's tutelage, he could significantly reduce the time spent on trivial matters. He could devote all his focus and energy to cultivation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1036 Global Conflict. Vote for Monthly Pass. Under 3 So Lin Yuan was quite satisfied with his current situation. To some extent, Lin Yuan in the Feng Yuan world had a more favorable external environment than in the Chaos Void. After all, within the Chaos Void, Lin Yuan lacked any solid backing, whereas in the Feng Yuan world, with Lord Qingfen, someone at the peak of the Great Lord level, taking him under his wing, Lin Yuan was completely protected. Apart from Lord Qingfen, Lin Yuan also belonged to the Fierce Sun Ancient Country Camp, which spoke volumes about his background. I've now restored my strength to the 12th layer path-splitting realm. Since his last meeting with Lord Qingfen, Lin Yuan's cultivation resources had flowed continuously and uninterrupted. Hence, there were no bottlenecks or setbacks in restoring his strength. The seed of the Fierce Sun is also about to reach 30,000 units. Lin Yuan never gave up on the condensation of the seed of the Fierce Sun. For him, this wasn't particularly challenging and didn't require much effort, so he did it casually in his spare time while cultivating. My understanding of the rules has increased to some extent, though it hasn't been significant, Lin Yuan thought quietly, not finding it surprising. In fact, Lord Qingfen's advice wasn't wrong. After condensing several thousand or tens of thousands of seeds of the Fierce Sun, the body undergoes a transformation, making it unnecessary to expend energy to continue condensing more, because the effort would outweigh the benefit. Others weren't like Lin Yuan. After condensing several thousand or tens of thousands of seeds of the Fierce Sun, even forming just one more would demand unimaginable effort and mental toil. Why would anyone do that merely to enhance their understanding of the rules by a fraction of 1,000th or 10,000th? I want to see what changes occur after condensing 33,333 seeds of the Fierce Sun. Lin Yuan felt a deep sense of anticipation. 3,333 seeds of the Fierce Sun allowed one's physical body to undergo transformation into the Fierce Sun Divine Body. But what about 33,333 seeds? In terms of difficulty, the latter far surpassed the former, probably to an extent that only the ancient country royals who could condense seeds of the Fierce Sun even while sleeping would dare to attempt such a feat. Did Master send me a message? Lin Yuan's heart stirred as he retrieved a scarlet jade slip, which now had a fresh message on it. Do not leave the sky-burning court for the time being. Lord Qingfen's message was concise, but for a great lord-level figure to personally send such a reminder, it had to be no trivial matter. Lord Qingfen presided over Qingfen City, overseeing every detail of the settlement beneath his gaze as a pinnacle great lord. Logically, even if Lin Yuan left the sky-burning court but stayed within Qingfen City, there should be no major concerns. Lord Qingfen could descend at a moment's notice. Is it because of the threat from the Purple Dream Domain? Lin Yuan speculated. Even though he had been mostly immersed in secluded cultivation recently, Lin Yuan occasionally overheard certain news. Powerful figures from the Purple Dream Domain had frequently been sighted near Qingfen City, seemingly watching for an opportunity. The Purple Dream Domain was a neighboring domain to Qingfen Domain, originating from an adversarial ancient country. The Feng Yuan world was vast and boundless, its ancient countries standing like colossal entities. Though the Fierce Sun ancient country reigned supreme, it was certainly not alone. There were still opposing ancient countries. Interactions between ancient countries often involved clashes, especially within the border regions of neighboring domains. The Purple Dream Great Venerable's strength was not far beneath that of Lord Qingfen. Lord Qingfen's advice for Lin Yuan to stay in the sky-burning court accounted for the most extreme possibilities. Should the Purple Dream Great Venerable take direct action, Lord Qingfen would be occupied and unable to guarantee Lin Yuan's safety. Having Lin Yuan stay in the sky-burning court was due to the fact that it served as the core of Qingfen City's great formation. Even for someone as powerful as a pinnacle great lord, invading the sky-burning court would still require considerable time and effort. Should such an event truly unfold,
it would trigger the Sky Burning Court's teleportation restriction, instantly sending Lin Yuan to another location. The personal stronghold meticulously prepared by Lord Qingfen, a location of utmost security. So, as long as Lin Yuan obediently remained in the Sky Burning Court, even a heavenly venerate-level expert would struggle to harm him. Well, I'll just stay here for now then. Lin Yuan was rather sensible. Since Lord Qingfen had advised him not to go out, he certainly would not venture out. Even though this physical bodhi's demise wouldn't equate to true death for Lin Yuan, and he could start anew, it would still waste time. Moreover, if he traveled through dimensions again, whether he would have the same favorable opening conditions was uncertain. Not every great lord-level expert would value their disciple like Lord Qingfen. Many great lords were selfish and exploitative, some even grooming disciples explicitly as resources for their own cultivation. The internal universe. After re-entering the 12th layer, Lin Yuan's internal universe began spontaneously evolving, gradually constructing the 13th layer inheritance, infinite void. This Feng Yuan world is fundamentally weak. It lacks the concept of internal universes. Lin Yuan mused while continuing his cultivation of infinite void. Infinite void was not akin to martial Tao or other evolutionary pathways. Instead, it resembled a secret technique, a method to transform the internal universe. Thus, it was cultivable even within the Feng Yuan world, a dimension outside the chaos void. Or is it not that the Feng Yuan world's experts are inherently weak, but that the chaos void's experts have exceedingly strong foundations? Lin Yuan wondered to himself. Within the chaos void, ascending to the 12th layer meant receiving chaos void origin infusion, which accelerated the transformation of the internal universe. But in this Feng Yuan world, there was no such convenience. Were it not for the vast resources supplied by Lord Qingfen, Lin Yuan's internal world would have taken tremendous time and effort to evolve into an internal universe. If Lin Yuan struggled this much, other experts would face even greater challenges. Time slid by gradually. Years passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Lin Yuan's internal universe surged, having fully mastered the first layer of infinite void, which rivaled the internal universes of chaos venerables. By now, the strength of Lin Yuan's foundation absolutely surpassed even that of pinnacle great lords like Lord Qingfen. Seed of the fierce sun. Lin Yuan's expression shifted as he examined himself. At this moment, countless seeds of the fierce sun permeated his bodice limbs and bones, resembling an endless sea of fierce sunday. Meanwhile, new seeds of the fierce sun continued to condense with the passage of time. Sir the novel, F. Iyer. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lin Yuan condensed another seed of the fierce sun. In an instant, a burgeoning cycle of seeds of the fierce sun formed a preliminary framework, bursting forth with radiant brilliance. P.S. First chapter update. Second chapter coming around 11 o'clock. Kneeling for monthly tickets if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1037 The Terrifying Fierce Sun Divine Body, requesting monthly votes. The numerous seeds of the fierce sun intertwined, forming the embryonic shape of a cycle. Thus it repeated. Endlessly. At this moment, Lin Yuan's physical body was rapidly accelerating in its transformation into the fierce sun divine body. The searing heat between heaven and earth surged continuously into him. I can feel it. My physical bodhi's metamorphosis into the fierce sun divine body has been drastically shortened in time, something that initially would have required 3,000 to 5,000 years. CTH Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Now, it would only take 3 to 5 years. Only 3,000 seeds of the fierce sun, and already such phenomena? Lin Yuan was well aware of the number of seeds of the fierce sun within him. Only 30,000. It had not yet reached 33,333. Hence, the cycle formed by the seeds of the fierce sun was merely in its embryonic state. Even so, Lin Yuan could feel the changes in his physical body and soul, as though immersed in a hot spring. Exceedingly comfortable, and his comprehension of the rules had further advanced significantly. No longer at the previous tortoise-like pace. These seeds of the fierce sun seemed to be forming a broken imprint? Lin Yuan's heart stirred as he diverted a thread of his consciousness to probe into it. Boom! Lin Yuan's awareness instantly soared to infinite heights,
arriving at a place filled with boundless fierce Sunday. This place was entirely crimson red, as if it were the sole existence in the world.
What is that? Lin Yuan raised his gaze to find a figure silently standing at an immeasurable height.
This figure radiated infinite light and heat, lacking a definitive shape. Its form varied a millionfold depending on the perspective of the beholder. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the instant he saw the figure, Lin Yuan's consciousness began to plummet. Who? On the 13th floor of the sky-burning court, Lin Yuan exhaled softly.
At this moment, he realized that even with the 30,000 seeds of the fierce sun not yet fully forming the great cycle, they had given him a glimpse of some absolute secrets.
That figure. Could it be the ancestor of fierce sun? The eternal fierce sun above the heavens? Lin Yuan speculated in his heart, reasoning that he accessed the crimson space through the seeds of the fierce sun, and that these seeds were indeed connected to the ancestor of fierce Sunday. It was natural for Lin Yuan to link the two together. How terrifying! Lin Yuan marveled inwardly. This was the first time he had directly faced a 13th-layer temporal being. The creator of the infinite void was also a 13th-layer temporal being. However, what Lin Yuan saw back then was merely a residual imprint left by the creator, lacking any concrete thoughts. But the figure standing amidst the boundless fierce sun, whether it was the ancestor of fierce sun's authentic form or even just an avatar, gave Lin Yuan an overwhelmingly oppressive presence. In this lifetime, can I truly achieve such a level? Lin Yuan's thoughts expanded. Neither the Moyu Tower Master nor Xian Huang, nor even the creator of the infinite void, had left any method or description for crossing into the 13th layer. A 12th layer being's advance to the 13th layer, compared to an 11th layer being attempting to reach the 12th, was nowhere near as perilous. It wasn't simply a matter of success or death. For a 12th layer being to transcend into the 13th layer, there was simply no fixed method or path. Forget it. First, I'll cultivate to the chaos realm. Lin Yuan consolidated his thoughts. The 13th layer matters were still far too distant. At present, Lin Yuan wasn't even at the chaos realm, nor at the dominator realm. He was merely at the path-splitting realm. The infinite void has been mastered, and the martial Tao has once again reached the peak of the path-splitting realm. As of now, my strength, though not on par with the chaos void's true body, likely is only marginally inferior. While I can't claim the chaos realm, I could easily crush anyone in the dominator realm. Lin Yuan examined himself, making a concrete assessment of his power. If the fierce sun divine body completes its transformation fully, then I might not be weaker than a true body. Lin Yuan speculated to himself. The fierce sun divine body was the strongest physique of the fierce sun ancient country, second to none. Especially within the fierce sun ancient country, it was rumored that when the fierce sun divine body operated to its extreme, it could wield even a minuscule fraction of the eternal fierce sun's power above the heavens. Under such circumstances, even if the chaos void's true body successfully comprehended and replicated the fierce sun divine body, its ability to exert its power could never match Lin Yuan's own. Outside Qingfen City, several figures stood motionlessly in midair. Among them, a violet-haired woman stood as the lead. Senior sister, is it true that the master plans to act against the Qingfen domain? Behind the violet-haired woman was a man who looked ahead toward the majestic Qingfen city in the distance and asked aloud. It is an order from the capital. The master cannot disobey. The violet-haired woman responded. No matter how powerful the great lord might be, they must heed the orders of the ancient country. This was the iron law. Of course, some carefree great lords and heavenly venerates avoided accepting the ancient country's ennoblement, thus forfeiting many benefits and privileges. Such individuals were also free from obligations or constraints. Still, any great lord or heavenly venerate with even a hint of ambition would generally align themselves with one of the major ancient countries. There was no alternative. Within the ancient countries lay the most profound legacies, the most accurate guidance, and the strongest protection. Without affiliating with any ancient country, great lords and heavenly venerates could not foresee a path forward, thus finding progress exceedingly difficult. The capital's orders? The man who had spoken earlier did not inquire further. If it were merely their master's intentions, there might still be room for change. But the capital? What do we need to do? An elderly woman with a hunched back directly queried. It's simple. The master will personally intervene, luring away Lord Qingfen. As for us, we'll infiltrate Qingfen City beforehand.
With the master's methods in place, as long as we don't act, even Lord Qingfen won't detect a thing. The violet-haired woman continued, once Lord Qingfen is led away, we will strike without restraint, causing as much chaos within Qingfen City as possible. Then we can use the myriad formation crystal to replicate the formations of Qingfen City. Once back, well, decipher its weaknesses. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1038 The Terrifying Fierce Sun Divine Body, requesting monthly votes. Under 2-inch causing upheaval in Qingfen City is merely a tactic. The ultimate goal is to use the myriad formation crystal to duplicate Qingfen City's formation. The woman with purple hair spoke. Only by preemptively decrypting Qingfen City's formation, waiting for Purple Dream Domain and other major domains to launch a full-scale attack on Qingfen City, can victory be swift and decisive. If not, with Qingfen City's formation operating at full capacity, coupled with the presence of the city's core formation, it would be more than sufficient to resist attacks from 7 or 8, even up to a dozen peak-level great lords of similar rank. The core of the plan is the myriad formation crystal. Such a treasure was granted from the capital, theoretically capable of replicating all formations in existence, and is extremely valuable. Marquis Purple Dream must return it after using it. Once Qingfen City's formation is duplicated successfully, Marquis Purple Dream will immediately invite ancient country formation masters to crack it, then swiftly ally with other domains to wage war. Even if Lord Qingfen realizes something is amiss, it will be too late to react. To change Qingfen City's grand array? That cannot be achieved in a short period of time. However, they could only execute such a maneuver once. After breaching Qingfen City, Fierce Sun Ancient Country's experts would undoubtedly review the incident, easily determining the source of the issue. At that time, measures would certainly be taken to prevent this from happening again. No problem. SAR the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The few figures behind the purple-haired woman nodded slightly. This mission posed little danger. Lord Qingfen had been drawn away by Marquis Purple Dream, essentially eliminating the greatest threat. As for Lord Qingfen's disciples? Although Lord Qingfen is formidable, he's notoriously neglectful in his disciples' training, resulting in mediocre abilities among his students. Far inferior to them. Even Lord Qingfen's eldest disciple, Feng Wanqing, pales in strength compared to the purple-haired woman. The purple-haired woman's strength had already half-stepped into the realm of the Great Lord. Among the numerous sovereign-level figures in Purple Dream Domain, at least 10 possess strength comparable to Feng Wanqing. I heard that not long ago, Lord Qingfen took in a new disciple. To accept this disciple, he personally left Qingfen City. The hunched elderly woman spoke. This matter wasn't a secret. After accepting Lin Yuan, Lord Qingfen introduced him to his other disciples, a widely spread and celebrated story within Qingfen Domain, a demonstration of a meteoric rise. Initially, the Yu family was merely a second-tier household, but it soared to become one of the most influential families in Qingfen Domain. I've heard that too. Given Lord Qingfen's personality, it's unlikely he would recklessly leave Qingfen City just for a disciple. The man beside her expressed some curiosity. Fierce Sun Ancient Country designs its marquee system specifically to defend their respective domains, and the core of any domain is its domain city, the domain city of Qingfen Domain being Qingfen City. For Lord Qingfen to leave Qingfen City recklessly entails a certain level of risk. If, during that time, an enemy domain launched an assault, Qingfen City would be vulnerable without the suppression of a peak-level Great Lord. Though, this scenario is unlikely. Lord Qingfen departed without notifying anyone beforehand. Enemy domains wouldn't know and would likely assume he remained within the city. Consequently, such attacks were improbable. Moreover, if Lord Qingfen dared leave, he must have confidence in his ability to return instantaneously. Thus, the risks were minimized. This particular scheme relied on Marquis Purple Dream stalling Lord Qingfen, the act of stalling itself being crucial. Only by keeping Lord Qingfen occupied would they have enough time to employ the myriad formation crystal to replicate Qingfen City's formation. Lord Qingfen is cold-hearted. Under orders from Fierce Sun Ancient Country, he accepted several disciples, but none of them dare call him master. Yet for this newly accepted young disciple, he not only risked leaving Qingfen City but spared no expense in his training. The purple-haired woman slightly shook her head. This disciple named Yu Yan must possess terrifying talent and aptitude, at least far exceeding Feng Wanqing during his prime.
Indeed.
The others nodded slightly, agreeing inwardly. If it were an ordinary disciple, Lord Qingfen would never go to such lengths. In the future, this individual would undoubtedly become a major calamity for Purple Dream Domain. The purple-haired woman offered her assessment, followed by a shake of her head. However, there will be no future. The moment these words were spoken, the others laughed immediately.
Indeed.
There will be no future. If this plan succeeds, Qingfen Domain will fall entirely. Even if Lord Qingfen survives, he'll be reduced to being a fugitive, hiding somewhere to lick his wounds. As for the disciples he poured his heart into cultivating, there's hardly a need to worry. No matter how heaven-defying the talent may be, without the luxury of time to grow, not even royal progeny of the ancient countries poses a threat. Even if Yu Yan managed to mature eventually, it would take countless eons. At least in Purple Dream Domain's current scheme, he wouldn't have any role to play. If the duplication of Qingfen City's formation completes smoothly, the capital will send down a precious treasure. The purple-haired woman concluded. Her words aimed to boost morale. An item deemed a precious treasure by the ancient country would be coveted even by great lord-level experts. As for their group of sovereign-level figures, once obtained, even if they couldn't use it themselves, they could trade it with a great lord, exchanging it for resources they desired. Given that it was bestowed by the capital, none would dare attempt to seize it. For these sovereign-level figures, it was reassuring.
A precious treasure.
The hunched elderly woman and the others exchanged glances, their eyes gleaming heatedly. As it stood, their mission didn't seem hard to complete, with the sole potential risk being whether Lord Qingfen would return early. Still, under the incentive of the capital's precious treasure, with no apparent danger or risk, they instead felt slightly uneasy internally.
Qingfen City.
Lord Qingfen gazed distantly. In recent days, he had clearly sensed abnormal movements from Purple Dream Domain. However, given Qingfen Domain's antagonistic relationship with Purple Dream Domain, such activity was ordinary. What exactly does Purple Dream intend to do? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1039 The Terrifying Fierce Sun Divine Body, requesting monthly votes. Under 3 Lord Qingfen vaguely felt something was amiss, but couldn't pinpoint it.
Better to make more preparations.
Lord Qingfen pondered for a moment, then immediately summoned the disciples.
Greetings, Marquis.
Feng Wanqing and other sovereign realm cultivators bowed toward Lord Qingfen. Although Lord Qingfen never allowed them to address him as master, the treatment they received was hardly lacking. From now on, if I'm not in Qingfen City and the Purple Dream Domain or other major territories launch an assault, ignore other areas and focus on defending these specific locations. Lord Qingfen immediately listed the core arrays of Qingfen City. In Lord Qingfen's predictions, the worst scenario was being occupied and delayed. Then, the Purple Dream Domain would take advantage to cause chaos and destroy the city's arrays.
If he remained in Qingfen City,
the Purple Dream Domain wouldn't stand a chance. As for a full-scale invasion of Qingfen City, even if Lord Qingfen were absent from the city, the arrays of Qingfen City would activate automatically upon attack, providing enough support for a long period. Thus, Lord Qingfen speculated that the strong cultivators of the Purple Dream Domain might attempt to infiltrate Qingfen City in advance. However, their numbers would certainly be limited, as Qingfen City had specialized detection formations. If the thickness of life of those entering exceeded a certain threshold, an alarm would be triggered. The so-called thickness of life refers to the power and quantity of an entity. For example, if someone at the level of a great venerable enters, I would immediately sense it. Or if a large number of sovereign realm cultivators invade, I would sense that as well. The strongest entities could use secret techniques to suppress their own aura, hiding their origin and background. But the thickness of life cannot be altered. Should it exceed the critical threshold, I will promptly be aware.
Understood.
Feng Wanqing and the other disciples responded immediately. Marquis, is the Purple Dream Domain planning something recently? Feng Wanqing probed cautiously. The layout Lord Qingfen was organizing was clearly aimed at the Purple Dream Domain. I am merely making preparations. Whether the Purple Dream Domain takes action or not, we'll see when the time comes.
Lord Qingfen replied calmly. Deep down, he even hoped the Purple Dream domain would make their move. The power of the Purple Dream Great Venerable could barely match Lord Qingfen's level, but if the two clashed, Lord Qingfen would clearly hold the upper hand. Furthermore, Lord Qingfen recently made breakthroughs in secret technique cultivation. If Marquis Purple Dream dared to come, Lord Qingfen was confident he could seriously injure him. With Marquis Purple Dream severely injured, the Qingfen domain could enjoy peace for millions, perhaps tens of millions of years. Dismissed. Lord Qingfen waved his hand. Once all the disciples had retreated, Lord Qingfen sank into contemplation. That disciple of mine has been requesting far too many resources lately. Lord Qingfen rubbed his chin. Lin Yuan was his most valued disciple. Though Lord Qingfen rarely interacted with him publicly, he had been secretly observing him all along. Still, as long as you can bear it, resources are nothing. Go ahead and take them. Lord Qingfen smiled faintly, a hint of anticipation in his heart. Search * The Nell Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Inside the sky-burning court, Lin Yuan was observing the changes in his physical body. After condensing 30,000 seeds of the fierce sun, the transformation speed of the fierce sun divine body had skyrocketed. Lin Yuan could perceive the changes in his body and physique every single moment. Every drop of my blood, down to the most microscopic particles, has turned crimson, evolving more intricate patterns. Lin Yuan's expression carried traces of contemplation as those patterns intertwined, significantly strengthening his physical body and even resonating with the most fundamental Dideo principles of heaven and earth. Whether in this origin world or within the chaos void, every cultivator seeks Dideo enlightenment to wield its principles. This act is inherently proactive. Yet the unfinished transformation of the fierce sun divine body now seemed to give Lin Yuan a sense of instinctive resonance with the universal Dideo principles. He didn't need to pursue the Tao naturally came to him. Magnificent! The more Lin Yuan observed, the more he marveled inwardly. Beneath the practice of body refinement secret techniques, Lin Yuan possessed deep foundations and had mastered supreme skills like the Xianxia physique, a Tao-protecting secret method created through the painstaking effort of a great saint, along with portions of the demonic jade immortal body. However, neither the Xianxia physique nor the demonic jade immortal body were anything more than methods to refine the physical form, building an indestructible existence. The fierce sun divine body, on the other hand, reconstructed the physical form, fundamentally altering its composition. Up to now, Lin Yuan still wasn't sure whether he remained part of the human race. Of course, the defining attribute of a race wasn't the physical form but the primordial spirit and true spirit, a truth Lin Yuan had long understood during the main universe era of human civilization. Many evolutionists of human civilization in the main universe had chosen to seize unique life forms to enhance their starting points. After seizure, their physical forms might not remain human, yet as long as their true spirit was human, they were still considered human. The fierce sun divine body also has distinctions. The most basic fierce sun divine body is formed from 3,333 seeds of the fierce sun. As the number of condensed seeds of the fierce sun increases, the power of the divine body grows stronger. Lin Yuan thought to himself. These insights were gained from Lin Yuan's meticulous observations of his own body. The transformation process of a fierce sun divine body created from 20,000 seeds of the fierce sun was vastly different from one created with merely 3,000 seeds. This difference wasn't just in transformation speed but also in the details of the composition. Once the fierce sun divine body is fully transformed, everything will become clear. Lin Yuan mused inwardly. While the transformation remained incomplete, much couldn't yet be understood. Time flowed slowly. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. Rumble. Lin Yuan's physical body finally completed its final transformation. Sitting cross-legged, Lin Yuan carefully sensed the changes in his physique and physical form. At this moment, the most microscopic elements of Lin Yuan's body had completely transformed into particles of flame, with profoundly mysterious patterns etched upon every particle. The patterns intertwined and entangled with each other. This. Lin Yuan exhaled softly. With the transformation of the fierce sun divine body completed, an abundance of instinctual information flooded into his mind. P.S. Second update. 10,000 words completed. Begging for monthly votes please. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc.,
Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1040 Chaos, Requesting Monthly Votes. The moment the fierce sun divine body was formed, a torrent of instinctual information surged into Lin Yuan's mind. Lin Yuan's consciousness rapidly absorbed the information. These bits of knowledge stemmed from the divine Bodhi's inherent instincts, much like how a person instinctively knows how to breathe or open their eyes upon birth. This is the fierce sun divine body? Lin Yuan couldn't help but feel a sense of awe in his heart. During the metamorphosis of the divine body earlier, he had already sensed the intimidating nature of this constitution. In addition to the many texts and legacies within the Sky Burning Court, there were detailed descriptions of the fierce sun divine body. Xianxia the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It was only when his physical body had completely transformed into the fierce sun divine body that Lin Yuan realized he had underestimated it. Too powerful. Lin Yuan raised his right hand. Although it remained flesh and blood, the smallest microcosmic components had already transformed into countless fierce sun particles, marked with deep and mysterious patterns on their surface. Burn everything, devour everything? Lin Yuan carefully felt every intricate detail of the fierce sun divine body. When Lin Yuan condensed the 30,000th seed of the fierce sun, his spirit and will had once entered a crimson space, where he glimpsed what seemed to be the figure of the ancestor of fierce Sunday. It had countless manifestations. Different beings perceived it in different forms. Similarly, the fierce sun divine body varies among awakened individuals, with each being distinct. Lin Yuan's fierce sun divine body, while maintaining the infinite power of burning, was also endowed with a devouring force. Anything, living or dead, burned to ashes by the divine Bodhi's power could have its origin source directly absorbed. Even space and time could be set ablaze, converting into origin source to replenish Lin Yuan. This devouring and absorption process happens instantaneously. It requires no refining time whatsoever. Simply put, for Lin Yuan at this moment, battles were not an expenditure, they were feasts. This ability. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. It was truly monstrous, tantamount to a perpetual motion machine, eliminating any concerns of depletion. Consider this, even Chaos Venerables worry about resource exhaustion. Chaos Great Saints manage somewhat better by constantly refining Chaos Chi to sustain themselves. But what if there was no Chaos Chi around? Lin Yuan's fierce sun divine body possessed the ability to burn and devour everything. Chaos Chi, enemy-killing blows, visible and invisible elements, tangible and intangible, all could be burned and devoured. Asterisk wala la. Asterisk at his fingertips, Lin Yuan ignited a tiny flame. The flame burned silently, warping the surrounding space slightly. Cracks began to appear, and Lin Yuan immediately felt streams of warmth flowing into his physical body. So this is the sensation of burning and devouring space? Lin Yuan's expression was thoughtful, and he promptly extinguished the flame. This ability must still be used cautiously. A single misstep could cause massive collapses in time and space, potentially drawing the attention of the upper echelons of the fierce sun ancient country. After all, allowing Lin Yuan to recklessly burn everything might incinerate the entire fierce sun ancient country. Of course, the territory of the ancient country was vast and boundless. Burning and devouring such a massive area would likely take an unimaginable amount of time. Furthermore, the dukes and kings within the country would never stand idly by, let alone the eternal sun that reigns supreme above the heavens. The key point was that the origin source gained through devouring could replenish consumption, heal injuries, but offered little else in utility. My current strength. Lin Yuan let out a long breath. The so-called burning and devouring were merely one of the abilities appended to the fierce sun divine body. After completing its metamorphosis, Lin Yuan's physical strength and vitality had skyrocketed immensely. In direct combat, I shouldn't be weaker than the true forms of beings birthed from the chaos void. If it comes to a prolonged stalemate, I'd ultimately be the one to prevail. Lin Yuan examined himself. The burning and devouring ability of his awakened fierce sun divine body rendered him unmatched in endurance-based battles. Trying to outlast him? Even great saints might not surpass Lin Yuan. Transform into the fierce sun. Transform into the fierce sun. Lin Yuan sensed the intricacies of the divine body. Every strong individual who awakens the fierce sun divine body shares one unifying ability. That is, the transformation into the fierce sun. This serves as the ultimate finishing move of the fierce sun divine body. Once activated,
the physical body and essential vitality are completely converted into a miniature fierce sunday. At that point, one can draw a tiny, insignificant trace of power from the eternal sun that resides above the heavens. Of course, using this ultimate move places an immense burden on the origin source of the fierce sun divine body. Unless it's absolutely necessary, it's best avoided. Once activated, recovering from it could take millions, if not tens of millions, of years. My awakened fierce sun divine body offers far greater physical and vital enhancements compared to other similar bodies. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The fierce sun divine body was known as the strongest divine body within the fierce sun ancient country, with ample documentation describing its properties. Lin Yuan was also aware of the enhancements experienced by others who awakened the fierce sun divine body. However, the degree of improvement fell far below his own. It's the influence of the seeds of the fierce sun. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. As early as during the metamorphosis of the fierce sun divine body, Lin Yuan had noticed the quantity of seeds had a profound effect on the transformation of his body. Now this conclusion had been confirmed. In reality, the more seeds of the fierce sun one condenses, the stronger the awakened divine body becomes. Among the great lords of the fierce sun ancient country, this was not considered a secret. But knowing is one thing. Being able to achieve it is another entirely. Chaos Void. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Fierce sun divine body. Lin Yuan carefully observed every detail of the fierce sun divine body. His origin world avatar shared the same consciousness as him, meaning Lin Yuan could examine the divine body from every conceivable angle. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1041 Chaos, Vote for monthly tickets. Under 2-inch it will be very difficult to replicate this kind of physique. Lin Yuan concluded. The solar flame divine physique was extraordinarily complex, down to its most microscopic components, those flame particles whose surfaces were etched with countless profound and mysterious patterns. CTH Nell Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. To Lin Yuan, such a structure felt as boundless as an entire universe. The solar flame divine physique in its original world was a natural evolution. It required 3,333 seeds of the fierce sun, cycling together to gradually reform the physical body and vitality until, finally, the solar flame divine physique emerged. However, in the chaos void, the seeds of the fierce sun were completely ineffective. To replicate a solar flame divine physique here, one would need to comprehend every microscopic flame particle. Take it slow. Lin Yuan reined in his thoughts. With his against heaven's understanding, unraveling the essence of the solar flame divine physique was indeed difficult but not impossible. Lin Yuan's attempt to comprehend the solar flame divine physique wasn't driven by the desire to replicate it in the chaos void. Rather, he was simply intrigued by the microstructure of its flame particles. Such comprehension could possibly hint at another grand path, one comparable to the 13th tier legacy of the infinite void. Should he achieve such understanding, it would open countless other possibilities. Lin Yuan wouldn't need to confine himself to the solar flame divine physique. He could easily create various physiques equivalent to the solar flame divine physique, achieving unimaginable heights on the path of physical vitality. Qingfen City. A purple-haired woman gathered with other powerful figures of the Purple Dream Domain. We finally managed to infiltrate. A gaunt man spoke with a solemn expression. At present, they were inside Qingfen City. If they were discovered, it would mean certain death. Lord Qingfen could obliterate them with a single thought. We used secret treasures to completely conceal our auras. As long as Lord Qingfen doesn't deliberately inspect us, he won't notice. The purple-haired woman's tone was calm. Qingfen City, as the domain city and the core of the Qingfen domain, saw countless powerful beings entering and leaving regularly. How could Lord Qingfen possibly investigate every single entity entering the city? If Qingfen City didn't have a formation specifically designed to detect the thickness and weight of life, it wouldn't have been so difficult for just a handful of us to infiltrate. The purple-haired woman shook her head slightly. At this moment, there were only 12 of them who had infiltrated Qingfen City from the Purple Dream Domain. Any more would risk alerting the life detection formation and drawing Lord Qingfen's attention. Life has both thickness and weight. Auras can be concealed, but the thickness and weight of life cannot be hidden. Occasionally, Qingfen City might see the arrival of a dozen sovereign-level beings. That wouldn't be unusual. But if the numbers increased beyond that, it would become suspicious. If 50 or 100 sovereign-level beings were dispatched and the thickness and weight of life in Qingfen City surpassed the vigilance threshold, Lord Qingfen, even if unaware of abnormalities, would conduct a thorough investigation of the city. If such an investigation began, Qingfen City would enter full defensive mode. At that point, with Lord Qingfen on guard, it would be highly uncertain whether Marquis Purple Dream could accomplish their objective. This mission is crucial. Using the Myriad Formation Crystal to replicate all the arrays in Qingfen City can only succeed. It must not fail. The purple-haired woman spoke with solemnity. If such a plan failed, any future attempt to attack the Qingfen domain would come at an unimaginably high cost. And even then it might not succeed. Understood. The others nodded. They were fully aware of the gravity of their task. For this mission, they had even brought the Myriad Formation Crystal, a priceless treasure, to replicate the formation arrays. The Myriad Formation Crystal was forged through the painstaking efforts of a formation master from the ancient nation, and its value was immeasurable. If this plan hadn't involved a strategy of an ancient nation-level magnitude, the Myriad Formation Crystal would not have been used. Senior sister, what's our next move? An elderly, hunched woman turned to the purple-haired woman, asking softly. Wait. The purple-haired woman replied. Wait. The group exchanged glances. Wait for our master to make a move. He will occupy Lord Qingfen, and then we will proceed with the plan. The purple-haired woman's tone remained composed. If Lord Qingfen retained any spare capacity to act, they wouldn't dare to reveal even a hint of their aura, let alone use the Myriad Formation Crystal to replicate the arrays. Understood. The group nodded. Before infiltrating Qingfen City, they had no knowledge of how their plan would unfold. It was only after entering the city that the purple-haired woman informed them of the subsequent steps. Let's hope everything goes smoothly. The purple-haired woman thought silently to herself. If they successfully replicated Qingfen City's arrays, she would earn immense merit. With the ancient nation's rewards, she might even fully step into the level of a great lord. The purple-haired woman was at the peak of sovereign level, with 1 foot already in the realm of great lords. She was acutely aware of the vast gap between a great lord and those below that rank. In fact, all 10+ powerful figures from the Purple Dream domain who had infiltrated were mostly at half-step great lord strength. Given the limitation in numbers, the infiltrators were naturally the strongest of those at the sovereign level. Lord Qingfen, who had been meditating in seclusion, abruptly opened his eyes. Not far away, a figure silently coalesced, the silhouette of a woman clad in a purple skirt. Purple Dream. Lord Qingfen gazed at the purple-skirted woman and smiled. Why send only an avatar here? If the purple-skirted woman had descended in her true form, Lord Qingfen wouldn't waste a single word. He would have immediately activated Qingfen City's Grand Array to suppress her. Capturing a feudal lord from an enemy ancient nation alive would be a monumental achievement. Even if it wasn't possible to capture her alive, killing or severely injuring her would still greatly benefit Lord Qingfen. But unfortunately, Lord Qingfen was acutely aware that the Purple Dream Marquis standing before him was merely an avatar. To me, there's little difference between an avatar and my true form. Marquis Purple Dream's tone was gentle. The path she walked was rooted in soul illusion. She was not proficient in matters of the physical body. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1042 Chaos, Vote for Monthly Tickets. Under SA3, even if it's just an incarnation, as long as the mind and will are strong enough, it can still unleash terrifying combat power. Just an incarnation. How much of your mind and will can it contain? How strong can the secret techniques it wields really be? Lord Qingfen scoffed in disbelief. Qingfen, I've spent 30,000 years weaving you a beautiful dream. Why don't you come in and take a look? The voice of the woman with the violet dress overlapped heavily, echoing. Lord Qingfen immediately sensed his consciousness beginning to descend into a haze. This isn't good. Your incarnation contains the origin source of your true self? How could you bear to do this? Lord Qingfen's eyes widened as he struggled to stay awake, resisting the pull into slumber. Meanwhile, layers upon layers of a spatial temporal maze started to manifest in the surroundings. As his usual retreat for cultivation, It was naturally also the core area of Qingfen City's formation coverage. With a single thought, he could activate the formation's power to protect himself. Purple Dream, you can at most trap me for 100 breaths of time. Lord Qingfen glared at Marquis Purple Dream, even as his mind and will rapidly descended. Before he completely fell into unconsciousness, Lord Qingfen had already transmitted messages to his many disciples and followers. 100 breaths, that's more than enough. Marquis Purple Dream stared at the now slumbering Lord Qingfen. Though the price she paid to trap Lord Qingfen for 100 breaths was not small, her goal was never to kill him. That was impossible. Protected by Qingfen City's Grand Formation, a mere incarnation, even with 7 or 8 other peak Great Lord level experts of the same tier, couldn't touch him within 100 breaths, let alone kill him. Besides, even if the current Lord Qingfen was slain, he'd surely have life-preserving mechanisms and would not truly perish. The stakes weren't significant in that sense. Marquis Purple Dream's true strategy lay with the disciples equipped with the myriad formation crystal, who had long infiltrated Qingfen City. With Lord Qingfen's consciousness thrown into slumber, not only the awareness of his true form but even his incarnated avatars, Qingfen City would become leaderless. 100 breaths of time would suffice for the myriad formation crystal to fully replicate the city's formation structures. Before falling completely into slumber, Lord Qingfen had already delivered instructions to his many disciples and subordinates. The Marquis wants us to head immediately to the formation's core areas to guard them? Feng Wanxing and other Dominator-level experts received Lord Qingfen's urgent summons. Though perplexed, they hesitated not for a moment, promptly acting as per the prearranged protocol. Not long before, Lord Qingfen had sensed something amiss. He had already warned Feng Wanxing and the Dominator-level experts that if anything unexpected occurred, they were not to concern themselves with the rest of the city but instead guard the specific formation core zones. In Lord Qingfen's calculations, even under extreme circumstances, such as Marquis Purple Dream making a move, her aim would likely be to sabotage Qingfen City's formation cores. As long as the formation's cores were protected, the grand formation of Qingfen City would remain intact, and the strategies of the Purple Dream domain would naturally collapse on their own. Master said I shouldn't leave? Lin Yuan also received Lord Qingfen's final transmission. His tone was so urgent. Something must have gone wrong. Lin Yuan speculated inwardly, glancing outside the sky-burning court. Since Master told me not to leave, I definitely won't step outside. Lin Yuan actively operated the formations surrounding the sky-burning court. Normally, these formations ran in hidden mode, only triggering during emergencies. Taking a prudent approach, Lin Yuan ensured the formations ran at their highest defensive intensity outright. This level of operation consumed significant energy, but after deducing that Lord Qingfen was likely in trouble, Lin Yuan disregarded such costs. Master has successfully stalled Lord Qingfen. The violet-haired woman received word, a hint of delight flashing across her features. This operation by the Purple Dream domain hinged on the critical point, whether Lord Qingfen could be stalled. If he couldn't be held back, then it would all amount to nothing. Their emergence would only mean death. Only 70 breaths left. The violet-haired woman glanced at the other figures behind her. Marquis Purple Dream was confident she could trap Lord Qingfen for over 100 breaths, but they needed to reserve ample time to retreat from Qingfen City. Let's begin. With a sweeping gesture from the violet-haired woman, hundreds of colossal figures materialized. These were all puppets at the pinnacle of Dominator-level strength. Without a trace of life aura, they could evade detection by Qingfen City's formation sensors. Rumble, hundreds of peak Dominator-level puppets began wreaking havoc within Qingfen City, drawing overt attention. Meanwhile, the violet-haired woman and other strongholders concealed themselves, equipped with the myriad formation crystals, and secretly set to replicating Qingfen City's grand formation structures. At one of the formation core zones, the violet-haired woman and her allies appeared. Lord Qingfen's disciples are guarding inside. The violet-haired woman smiled faintly. Truly worthy of being a peak great lord who has fought us in the Purple Dream domain for years. He's thought things through so thoroughly, even predicting our target might be the formation cores within the city. The other strongholders shared knowing grins. Though Lord Qingfen had just been stalled, the disciples had promptly stationed themselves at the formation cores, clearly a precaution prepared in advance. But unfortunately for them, armed with the myriad formation crystal, there was no need to destroy the formation cores.
They merely had to replicate them from afar and bring them back to be deciphered by the ancient country formation masters. The effort to directly destroy the formation cores versus secretly replicating them from outside was leagues apart in difficulty. The violet-haired woman and her allies spent just 3 breaths using the myriad formation crystal to replicate this core structure, then quietly vanished. Xianxia the Novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The disciples guarding the formation core remained completely oblivious to the violet-haired woman and her team throughout. Time continued to flow. 20 breaths quickly passed. We've already replicated 6 formation cores. The violet-haired woman was greatly satisfied. Everything had been proceeding smoothly. Hundreds of puppets at the pinnacle of Dominator-level strength were brazenly attracting Qingfen City's attention on the surface. Thus far, their path had encountered no hindrance. Qingfen City had 12 formation core zones in total. They had already replicated 9 within 20 breaths. Time remained comfortably ample. Let's move to the next formation core. The violet-haired woman and her team immediately began rushing toward their next target. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1043, Purple Dream Domain has indeed made a move. Feng Wanqing was stationed at one of the most crucial core formations and immediately noticed the chaos within the city. The uncontrolled actions of those hundreds of peak Dominator realm puppets stirred energy fluctuations so intense, they were hard to ignore. If not for the Marquis orders, instructing us to guard the core formations, just these mere hundreds of puppets? Feng Wanqing shook his head slightly. Hundreds of peak Dominator realm puppets didn't mean much. It was only because the strongest Dominator realm powerhouses of Qingfen City were ordered by Lord Qingfen to guard the core formations. This allowed the puppets to seize the opportunity to rampage across the city. Feng Wanqing understood the reasoning behind Lord Qingfen's decisions. As long as the core formations remained intact, Qingfen City would stand as unshakable as a mountain. The destruction caused by the peak Dominator realm puppets? It barely mattered. Sar the Novel _Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The Marquis must have been held back by Marquis Purple Dream. Feng Wanqing's mind churned with thoughts. With Lord Qingfen's strength, dealing with those puppets would be as easy as snapping his fingers. The only explanation for the lack of action was that Marquis Purple Dream was hindering him. Could Marquis Purple Dream be stalling the Marquis merely to let these puppets run amok? Feng Wanqing pondered deeply, sensing that something was off. Even he didn't care about the destruction caused by the puppets, as the losses to Qingfen City were minimal at best. Although he didn't know what method Marquis Purple Dream was using to forestall the Marquis, it certainly came with a price. Paying a price, just to inflict such trivial, insignificant damage on Qingfen City? I'll wait until the Marquis is free to act before pursuing this matter further. Feng Wanqing decided to set his questions aside until he could speak to Lord Qingfen in person. Right now, all 12 core formations across the city are under strict guard. Feng Wanqing glanced in other directions. So far, the other 11 core formations had not been attacked, and everything remained normal. And then there's Junior Brother. Feng Wanqing turned to look towards Sky Burning Court again. Junior Brother is also staying within the court. Feng Wanqing was acutely aware of Lord Qingfen's regard for Lin Yuan. If Junior Brother were to encounter any harm during this raid by the Purple Dream Domain, Lord Qingfen would undoubtedly fly into an unparalleled rage. But for now, Junior Brother appeared to be perfectly safe. He had not left Sky Burning Court. As long as he remained within Sky Burning Court, there was no need to worry about his safety. The defenses of Sky Burning Court were unmatched in all of Qingfen City, better protected than any of them, including Junior Brother himself. As long as the 12 formations remain secure, and Junior Brother stays unharmed, let these puppets wreak havoc as they please. Feng Wanqing withdrew his gaze from the chaotic city streets. The purple-haired woman and several powerful figures flitted through the void, passing through every corner of Qingfen City. The myriad formation crystal faintly emitted a hazy light, replicating every formation within its range. Only 2 core formations remain. The purple-haired woman felt a surge of delight, and the other powerhouses couldn't hold back their smiles. So far, their movements had gone completely undiscovered.
All of Lord King Fen's Peak Dominator Realm disciples were focused entirely on guarding the core formations, paying no attention to what was happening beyond them. They only needed to approach the core formations slightly, then use the myriad formation crystal to replicate them remotely before retreating with ease. No one would notice a thing. Up ahead is Sky Burning Court, where Lord King Fen's most prized disciple is cultivating. At that moment, the thin, wiry man trailing behind the purple-haired woman suddenly spoke. Sky Burning Court? The purple-haired woman cast a fleeting glance in that direction. Sky Burning Court was also an important node within the city's grand formations. They'd have to pass through it and let the myriad formation crystal replicate its structures. Swoosh. Soon, the group reached a spot not far from Sky Burning Court. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When the purple-haired woman finished replicating the formations around Sky Burning Court with the myriad formation crystal, she was preparing to leave. The hunched old woman beside her suddenly spoke. Lord Qingfen values this disciple so highly. If we were to kill him, wouldn't that be a major accomplishment for us? These words instantly sparked a glint in the eyes of the others. Lord Qingfen had countless disciples, hundreds of thousands in total, but even someone like Feng Wanqing could only address him as the Marquis. It was clear that even if Feng Wanqing were to fall in battle one day, Lord Qingfen likely wouldn't blink an eye. But Lin Yuan? Not only had Lord Qingfen personally escorted him out of Qingfen City, but he also allowed Lin Yuan to address him as Master. Moreover, in recent times, Lord Qingfen had fulfilled nearly all of Lin Yuan's requests, even offering up his normally secluded training grounds, Sky Burning Court, to him. From this, it was evident just how much Lord Qingfen cherished Lin Yuan. And it also suggested that Lin Yuan's talent and aptitude must be monstrously extraordinary, so much so that someone as exalted as Lord Qingfen, a peak-level great lord, had lost his usual composure. Senior sister, since we still have plenty of time, and with Lord Qingfen occupied by our master while the Peak Dominator Realm disciples are preoccupied with the core formations, why don't we give it a try? The thin man grew visibly eager. Given Lord Qingfen's regard for Lin Yuan, under normal circumstances, they wouldn't even have the privilege of laying eyes on him, let alone take any action against him. It was only now, amidst the conflict between Purple Dream Domain and Qingfen Domain, that they had the chance to get so close to Lin Yuan. I also think it's worth trying. Another powerhouse from Purple Dream Domain chimed in. In the short term, killing Lin Yuan would be a tremendous feat, a tangible reward. In the long term, Lin Yuan's terrifying talent posed a dark threat. If left alone, he would undoubtedly become an insurmountable obstacle for Purple Dream Domain in the future. Rather than waiting for him to grow into an unstoppable force, why not take the chance to snuff him out now? Even if they failed, it wouldn't matter. They still had plenty of time left in Qingfen City, more than enough to replicate the remaining formations. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1044. Are you the Great Lord? Seeking monthly pass. _2 As for whether killing Lin Yuan would incite Lord Qingfen's wrath? The Purple Dream Domain and Qingfen Domain are inherently adversaries. Even if Lin Yuan were spared, would Lord Qingfen possibly let them go? Then let's give it a try. The purple-haired woman considered for a fleeting moment and quickly made her decision. She was also curious to see what qualities a disciple nurtured so meticulously by Lord Qingfen would possess. Since the decision was made to act, the purple-haired woman and her companions wasted no time, appearing instantly in front of the Sky Burning Court. This Sky Burning Court is one of Lord Qingfen's retreat spots and a residence for the favored disciple. It's surely protected by a formidable array. We must act swiftly, and if we find that we can't breach the array, depart immediately. The purple-haired woman clearly understood the group's objective. Replicate all the arrays within the city. As for killing Lord Qingfen's treasured disciple, that was purely incidental. Success would be ideal, but failure shouldn't interfere with their main task. Understood. The other powerful figures nodded in agreement, sharing her perspective. A mere attempt posed no risk or downside. Inside the Sky Burning Court, Lin Yuan gazed out beyond. In fact, the moment the purple-haired woman's group employed the myriad formation crystal to replicate the arrays surrounding the Sky Burning Court, Lin Yuan had already detected their presence. However, adhering to Lord Qingfen's instructions, he had refrained from taking action, continuing his cultivation undisturbed. But now, The group had arrived right outside the sky-burning court. What are they trying to do? Lin Yuan stepped out of the pavilion, still within the protective range of the great array. So this is Lord Qingfen's newly accepted disciple? The purple-haired woman spotted Lin Yuan, but without a word, she struck directly. Xianxia the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. In an instant, a hazy purple force began to envelop the sky-burning court, while other purple dream domain powerhouses unleashed their methods, holding nothing back, aiming to kill Lin Yuan in the shortest possible time. The intelligence regarding Lin Yuan obtained by the purple-haired woman and her companions came from the Yu family. Before apprenticing under Lord Qingfen, Lin Yuan had only reached the 8th layer of cultivation.
With their half-step great honor tier of strength, even with the great array's protection, as long as even a trace of power seeped through, Lin Yuan would have no chance of survival.
Rumble. Terrifying energy crashed toward the sky-burning court. At that moment, an invisible barrier rose around the sky-burning court. The combined attacks of more than 10 half-step great honors were completely intercepted by the barrier. Their strikes dissipated soundlessly, vanishing in an instant. A defensive formation of this caliber? The purple-haired woman's expression grew grave, and she immediately abandoned further efforts to strike.
She could tell that the defenses of the sky-burning court's great formation were immensely formidable.
Forget about their half-step great honor strength. Even a true great honor level expert wouldn't be able to breach it in a short amount of time. Lord Qingfen truly dotes on this disciple. The other purple dream domain experts couldn't help but marvel. The sky-burning court wasn't even the central node of the array, yet its level of defense likely surpassed the core itself. Was it simply because Lin Yuan resided within? Could it be that Lord Qingfen had specifically adjusted the formation's coverage for this reason? Let's go. Don't waste time here. The purple-haired woman promptly decided to leave. The other purple dream domain powerhouses followed suit.
Their strength isn't much after all, huh?
From within the sky-burning court, Lin Yuan observed for a while.
Watching the power unleashed in the attacks by the purple-haired woman and the others, which had entirely been blocked by the array, he calculated their strength.
With this assessment, Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred. A projection of his primordial spirit emerged from his body, moving autonomously out of the sky-burning court's confines, stepping beyond the array's protected zone. Since moving into the sky-burning court, Lin Yuan had been greatly satisfied with the cultivation environment. He had silently watched the havoc the purple-haired woman wrought in Qingfen City. If he wasn't sure of her level of strength, Lin Yuan would naturally be cautious, adhering strictly to Lord Qingfen's advice, staying hidden in the sky-burning court. But now, the strength of the purple-haired woman and her companions? Nothing to fuss over. Lin Yuan immediately thought of resolving the threat they posed to Lord Qingfen. Of course, to exercise caution, Lin Yuan didn't step out in person. Instead, he sent out a projection of his primordial spirit. This way, even if an extreme scenario occurred, such as the purple-haired woman concealing her true strength, or a hidden great honor peak or heavenly venerate level power lurking in the vicinity unnoticed by Lin Yuan, the worst-case scenario would merely cost him a projection, which he could reconstruct at any time.
The purple-haired woman and her companions were just about to leave when they suddenly noticed a figure voluntarily emerging from the sky-burning court.
Yu Yan. The purple-haired woman stopped in her tracks, staring at Lin Yuan with a mixture of astonishment. Why wasn't he staying safely hidden in the sky-burning court yet chose to step out voluntarily? You're from the purple dream domain? Lin Yuan looked at the purple-haired woman and her team. Sneaking around here, there's no way this is something good. Attack him directly. The slender man's figure vanished, blending into the space around him. Lin Yuan's voluntary emergence from the sky-burning court had presented him with what he deemed an excellent opportunity. Though he suspected that Yu Yan's willingness to step out might imply a hidden trump card, did he himself not possess cards as well? Humph. A purple dream domain expert let out a cold snort. A silent wave of spiritual energy appeared, enveloping Lin Yuan imperceptibly. Not only the slender man spotted an opening, but almost instantly, the rest of the purple dream domain powerhouses acted, intent on giving Lin Yuan no chance to react. The purple dream domain expert who had delivered the soul attack furrowed his brow. Soul attacks are immediate and undetectable, so his was the first to land on Lin Yuan. Yet, the assault yielded no feedback whatsoever, as if it had been swallowed by a swamp, disappearing entirely.
If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible.
Chapter 1045 Are You the Great Lord? Seeking monthly pass. Under 3-inch what's going on? The expert from the Purple Dream domain looked uncertain and suspicious. Swish. A series of terrifying attacks roared through spacetime toward Lin Yuan, arriving within mere meters of his body in an instant. Why hasn't the defensive formation appeared? The purple-haired woman froze slightly. She had assumed Lin Yuan walked out so confidently because he was still within the defensive formation.
But now, their attacks were about to strike Lin Yuan, yet there wasn't the slightest trace of the formation's aura.
Is this a clone of that Yu Yan?
The hunched old woman glanced at the sky-burning court and speculated in her heart. Whether it's a clone or not, he's dead for sure.
Whoosh.
To Lin Yuan's right, a figure emerged, a gaunt man who extended his right hand to grab Lin Yuan.
The purple-haired woman, seeing this, immediately turned away. She didn't need to look to know that Lin Yuan's death was certain. The gaunt man's physical body was reputed to be the strongest under the great lords of the Purple Dream domain. In the realm of pure physical strength, he could even withstand several blows from a great lord and survive. With the gaunt man this close, even the purple-haired woman felt her scalp tingle, let alone Lin Yuan, who had no chance of survival. Is this the strength you all dare to infiltrate with? Lin Yuan glanced at the gaunt man reaching out to grab him and casually flicked his right hand. Though it was just a primordial spirit that walked out of the sky-burning court, because of the secret technique, illusory reality, the primordial spirit had transformed into a fleshly body. Its combat power wasn't much weaker than his true physical form. Various physical body divine abilities, the 13th level inheritance, infinite void, and even the fierce sun divine body. Everything could still be cultivated in spirit form.
Bas, bas, bas. With Lin Yuan's casual hand wave, the gaunt man, who had already reached him, suddenly showed a drastic change in expression, turning deathly pale and coughing up several mouthfuls of blood. His body and soul began to collapse until a faint green glow enveloped him and barely stabilized his injuries. He retreated violently backward. This scene left the purple-haired woman and the other Purple Dream domain experts watching in stunned disbelief. Senior brother Kuang Zhen? The purple-haired woman couldn't believe what she had just witnessed. He was severely injured instantly? If not for the tears of life gifted by the master, wouldn't he already be dead? Senior brother Kuang Zhen's physical body was unmatched in the Purple Dream domain. Even a great lord's attack might not kill him. And yet, with a mere flick of Lin Yuan's hand, he had practically already died once. The purple-haired woman couldn't accept this. Even if Lin Yuan had hidden strategies to confidently walk out of the sky-burning court, she had assumed it would involve defensive measures. Something, for instance, to evade the gaunt man's attacks. But this? What was this? Rumble. At this moment, the other Purple Dream domain experts' attacks also descended. However, all of their assaults instantly ignited upon brushing against the edges of Lin Yuan's garments, burning unceasingly until they were completely annihilated. Run! He's a great lord. He's a great lord. Not far away, the gaunt man, senior brother Kuang Zhen, transmitted a message to the purple-haired woman and the others without hesitation and fled without looking back. If not for the life-saving treasure, the tears of life, he would have been completely annihilated just now by Lin Yuan's casual hand wave. For someone to casually land a blow that inflicted such devastating damage, there was no explanation other than that Lin Yuan was a great lord. That's why the gaunt man transmitted such a warning. At this moment, only one thought occupied his mind: escape. As for why the youngest disciple of Lord Qingfen would be revealed as a great lord, there simply wasn't time to think about it. A great lord. The purple-haired woman's pupils contracted, and she likewise prepared to flee. Buzz! The surrounding space-time began to condense from all directions, hardening like amber and trapping all the Purple Dream domain experts within. Trying to run? Lin Yuan stepped forward, appearing behind the gaunt man, and pressed down with his palm. The gaunt man's physical body began to collapse again. This time, without the tears of life to save him, only a wisp of his soul remained, which Lin Yuan suppressed and collected. Swish! Lin Yuan waved his hand once more. Among the remaining dozen or so Purple Dream domain experts, 9 of their physical bodies instantly ignited and began burning uncontrollably, turning to ashes in the blink of an eye. From the moment Lin Yuan had voluntarily stepped out of the sky-burning court until now, After making only a few moves, more than half of the dozen or so half-step great lords from the Purple Dream Domain had perished, leaving only a few survivors like the purple-haired woman, barely holding on with their life-saving treasures. Even so, the remaining Purple Dream Domain experts who survived couldn't hide their faces of terror. In front of Lin Yuan, they couldn't even talk about resistance, let alone mount a challenge. They were as fragile as ants.
Is that the fierce sun divine fire? Which great lord are you?
The purple-haired woman looked terrified as she witnessed her fellow disciples being reduced to ashes. The fierce sun divine fire of the fierce sun ancient country could only be wielded by those who had awakened the fierce sun divine body. To fully awaken the fierce sun divine body, that required at least the peak of the sovereign realm, and even then, only an unparalleled prodigy could hope to achieve it. Someone like Lin Yuan, who could slay half-step great lords as easily as butchering chickens, was almost certainly a great lord. A great lord who had awakened the fierce sun divine body? It was known that not all great lords could awaken such a body, but those who did were exceedingly difficult to contend with.
So much pointless chatter.
Lin Yuan struck again, reaching for the remaining Purple Dream Domain experts who were still alive.
Rumble!
Lin Yuan's arm suddenly expanded, piercing through the void and appearing directly in front of the remaining Purple Dream Domain experts. These experts, trapped within Lin Yuan's spacetime cage, had their movements drastically slowed down. On top of that, they had already used up all their life-saving treasures to ward off the fierce sun divine fire earlier. Now, faced with Lin Yuan's grasp, they could do nothing but watch as their physical bodies were pierced through, so the oval fire.
At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality.
Their souls suppressed, and ultimately collected by Lin Yuan at will.
Bas!
The purple-haired woman faced Lin Yuan's grasp as well. From the surface, Lin Yuan's attack seemed unremarkable, even slow. But to the purple-haired woman, it enveloped all space-time. No matter how she tried to evade or resist, it was completely futile, as though her fate was already sealed, to be pierced through by this grasp.
At the core of Qingfen City's most critical formation,
Feng Wanqing sat cross-legged, diligently obeying Lord Qingfen's orders to guard the location.
Over there.
Feng Wanqing noticed something and abruptly lifted his head to look in the direction of the sky-burning court. At that moment, he sensed a violent fluctuation in space-time emanating from that location.
Not good.
Feng Wanqing's expression instantly changed to one of panic.
The junior disciple is in danger.
If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible.
Chapter 1046 Is my disciple the Great Lord?
Seeking monthly pass. As long as junior apprentice brother stays within the sky-burning court, relying on the protection of the Great Formation, there shouldn't be any problems. In the blink of an eye, countless thoughts flashed through Feng Wanqing's mind, but his anxiety didn't ease in the slightest.
What if?
What if the Purple Dream Domain has a way to bypass the Great Formation of the sky-burning court? Or if they manage to lure Lin Yuan out on their own? Too many unforeseen events could occur. Initially, Feng Wanqing had doubts about the Purple Dream Domain's operation this time, expending resources to hold back Lord Qingfen, only to let a few hundred puppets rampage through the city? That made absolutely no sense. A few hundred peak Dao realm puppets already represent a significant cost. On the battlefield, they could already form a military formation.
But in the city?
At most, they could only wreak havoc here and there. They couldn't possibly inflict significant damage to Qingfen City.
A losing trade.
Would the Purple Dream Domain do such a thing? And now, sensing the deep temporal fluctuations coming from the sky-burning court, Feng Wanqing suddenly had more speculations and thoughts. Could it be that the Purple Dream Domain's ultimate target is the junior apprentice brother? Although that possibility was equally unbelievable, Lord Qingfen, of course, valued Lin Yuan highly. But would the Purple Dream Domain really pay such a price for a junior apprentice brother who hadn't even reached the Self-Dao realm? Ruan, take over my position. Feng Wanqing's expression turned solemn, and he immediately made a decision. The temporal fluctuations from the direction of the sky-burning court made him far too uneasy. He had to personally go and take a look.
As for the Great Formation Core here?
The Dao realm-level experts stationed here weren't just Feng Wanqing. There were also other junior brothers. If Feng Wanqing let go, it would indeed weaken the protective strength of this Great Formation Core somewhat. But compared to the junior apprentice brother's safety, Feng Wanqing leaned toward prioritizing the latter.
In the worst-case scenario, it could just be the Purple Dream Domain using a diversionary tactic, and this Great Formation Core might get breached. But Qingfen City had a total of 12 Great Formation Cores. The loss of just one core wouldn't significantly impact the city's defenses. However, if something happened to Lin Yuan, and Lord Qingfen found out afterward, Feng Wanxing didn't even dare to imagine the consequences.
Senior brother, you're leaving now?
Junior brother Wan's face visibly changed. He too could sense the temporal fluctuations coming from the direction of the sky-burning court and was growing increasingly anxious. But the task entrusted to them by Lord Qingfen was to guard the Great Formation Core. Feng Wanxing's departure would be tantamount to leaving his post without authorization, and any accountability afterward wouldn't end well. I'll take full responsibility for all consequences. Just focus on guarding this Great Formation Core for me. Feng Wanxing shook his head and left immediately, heading toward the sky-burning court. The temporal fluctuations still haven't stopped? Feng Wanxing grew increasingly uneasy.
From the moment he perceived the temporal fluctuations from the direction of the sky-burning court until now, several breaths had already passed.
In all this time, what on earth had happened on the side of the sky-burning court? Was the junior apprentice brother still all right? Search * the novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The Purple Dream Domain. In the cave abode of the gaunt man Zhan, a crystal-clear stone floated in midair, emitting faint soul waves.
At that moment, a strand of soul power surged out from within the stone, condensing into a figure. It was the gaunt man Zhan.
Whoosh! Inside the cave, backup measures that had been prepared long ago activated. Vast amounts of energy surged forth, condensing into a physical body.
My true form.
Zhan's face darkened. His true body had perished, and a strand of his soul had been suppressed by Lin Yuan.
Realizing something was amiss, he had unhesitatingly extinguished that strand of suppressed soul.
Then, utilizing prearranged life-saving measures, he resurrected. As one of Marquis Purple Dream's disciples, the gaunt man understood very well that even when facing a great lord, killing him through causal curses was nearly impossible. The defenses around his cave abode had been specifically designed to mitigate causal methods. But if even a strand of his soul fell into the hands of a great lord, the consequences would be dire. Thus, Zhan had decisively obliterated that strand of his soul.
A great lord.
Qingfen City actually had a hidden great lord. Zhan's expression revealed obvious fear. His physical constitution was unmatched in the Purple Dream Domain, yet against someone capable of killing him so effortlessly, it could only be a great lord. The other junior brothers and sisters. Zhan immediately tried to contact the other disciples. He learned that all their true bodies had also perished. They had voluntarily extinguished their suppressed souls and then resurrected, using their life-saving measures. The senior sister is still alive. Zhan felt no relief. The purple-haired woman was the strongest disciple under Marquis Purple Dream, infinitely close to the realm of a true great lord. Of course, Zhan didn't believe the purple-haired woman could resist a great lord.
As the leader of this operation, she carried numerous trump cards, allowing her to hold out for a brief moment even against a great lord.
But only for a brief moment.
If the opponent were indeed a great lord, her demise was inevitable. This mission seems to have failed.
Zhan thought to himself. A hidden great lord had completely altered the dynamics of the battlefield, especially given their ambush in Qingfen City. They were entirely caught off guard.
A dignified great lord, toying with us in such a way.
Zhan's heart was filled with rage and frustration.
In his view, their every move had likely been known by that great lord right from the start. Yet the great lord hadn't acted, merely watching them painstakingly reconstructing formations within the city, likely waiting to strike at the final moment, just to deliver despair.
That information about Yu Yan must have been deliberately leaked by Lord Qingfen. All that talk about valuing Lin Yuan, about his connection to the Yu family, it's all fake.
Lies, all of it.
Zhan's face twisted in bitter anger. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1047 Is My Disciple the Great Lord? Seeking monthly pass, _2" no. We need to inform the master immediately.
The failure of this mission wasn't our fault. It was that cunning Lord Qingfen.
the gaunt man Kuang Zhen promptly contacted Marquis Purple Dream. The plan targeting Qingfen City originated from the capital of the ancient country, and failure would certainly result in punishment. But was it not mentioned beforehand that another great lord was hidden within Qingfen City? If this information had been known earlier, the Purple Dream domain would never have implemented the current plan. Dealing with a hidden great lord would require comprehensive adjustments to the entire strategy. In front of the sky-burning court, time and space condensed, imprisoning all directions like amber. This Yu Yan is a great lord? The purple-haired woman was equally desperate, never expecting that she and her group, who intended to see if they could easily eliminate the future major threat to the Purple Dream domain, would encounter such a formidable opponent. And to find out that the other party was a great lord? Were they rulers contemplating dealing with a great lord? Rustle. Rustle. Lin Yuan's right hand pierced through the void, reaching for her. This right hand encompassed all time and space. Earlier, many of the purple-haired woman's fellow disciples had perished under this hand. Even the physically strongest gaunt man Kuang Zhen, whose body and soul disintegrated under it. Myriad Formation Crystal. Under the absolute threat of death, the purple-haired woman ignored everything else and directly brought out the ancient treasure bestowed by the capital of the ancient country. The Myriad Formation Crystal could replicate any postnatal array, profoundly mysterious, but it was not merely limited to replicating formations. Similarly, the Myriad Formation Crystal had other uses. It could activate the formations replicated within it externally. Of course, the actual power of a formation directly activated in this way was only a tenth or even several tenths of the original formation's power. However, it was very convenient. After all, setting up a formation required various materials, and the defensive array of Qingfen City had formed after countless millennia of accumulation. Yet the Myriad Formation Crystal could directly form a formation. Extremely astonishing. Rumble. A grand array containing an infinite spatial temporal maze enveloped the purple-haired woman, and Lin Yuan's reaching hand directly missed, falling into overlapping time and space, and finally retracted. This formation? Interesting. Lin Yuan observed closely, particularly eyeing the crystal floating before the purple-haired woman. Lin Yuan could sense that the spatial temporal grand array enveloping the purple-haired woman originated from this crystal. Great Lord, why stoop to attack an ant like me? The purple-haired woman's heart pounded, realizing that the manifested space-time grand array was already the strongest defensive formation she could activate. Even so, with Lin Yuan's previous grasp, she felt a slight tremble in the space-time grand array. After all, the purple-haired woman was not the true owner of the Myriad Formation Crystal, and could not activate its most potent formations. Even if she were the owner, without reaching the Great Lord or Heavenly Venerable Realm, she wouldn't be able to activate it. Despite the Myriad Formation Crystal bypassing numerous material constraints and directly forming a formation, activating the internal formations required at least minimal understanding. You took the initiative against me, and I can't fight back? Lin Yuan continued to observe the Myriad Formation Crystal. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to comprehend the source of formations, grasping many of their mysteries. With Lin Yuan's strength, if he truly acted, he could surely break through the space-time grand array by force and kill the purple-haired woman inside. But doing so would likely damage the crystal. Lin Yuan, having browsed countless books and inheritances on the 13th floor of the sky-burning court, knew this crystal should be the Myriad Formation Crystal. Such a treasure's value was incalculable. Even if Lin Yuan didn't use it himself, he could keep it to exchange for the resources he desired. So he planned to grasp the mysteries of the space-time grand array activated by the Myriad Formation Crystal slightly, and directly bypass the array to kill the purple-haired woman. This way, the Myriad Formation Crystal remained unharmed, and Lin Yuan would benefit. What a pity, the few suppressed souls extinguished themselves entirely. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. A peak ruler's mere thought could extinguish their own soul, making it hard for Lin Yuan to prevent it. CTH Novel. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. We didn't know you were here, Great Lord. Seeing that Lin Yuan didn't act immediately, the purple-haired woman felt a deep sigh of relief. As long as he hadn't attacked, there was room for negotiation. I see that you, Great Lord, aren't a Great Lord of the fierce Sun ancient country. I wonder what price Lord Qingfen offered to have you stationed here. Our Purple Dream domain is willing to offer double. The purple-haired woman spoke up immediately. She was fully aware of the importance of this plan, as it concerned the beginning of a battlefield between the ancient countries. Even when encountering unexpected changes, they still needed to complete it to the best of their ability. Are you done speaking? At this moment, Lin Yuan had already fully comprehended the space-time grand array activated by the myriad formation crystal with his against heaven's understanding and acted again. Rumble. Lin Yuan's right hand reached out again, probing deep into the intertwining times and spaces. Great Lord, you! The purple-haired woman's heart trembled, but seeing the myriad formation crystal in front of her, she calmed herself slightly. I can't let this drag on, this way Lord Qingfen might free himself from the master's means. By then, if two great lords join forces, along with Qingfen City's array. The purple-haired woman was contemplating this when she abruptly noticed that Lin Yuan's extending right hand had not retracted after entering the space-time grand array, but continued to approach her. The space-time grand array encompassed countless overlapping times and spaces. Even a great lord-level strongman might be trapped in it briefly. But Lin Yuan's reaching right hand passed through the myriad overlapping times and spaces as if they were nothing, and the space-time grand array, centered on the myriad formation crystal, seemed as fragile as paper before Lin Yuan's hand. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1048 Is my disciple the Great Lord? Seeking monthly pass. On a 3-inch no. The purple-haired woman within the space-time grand array widened her eyes. The myriad formation crystal was unable to stop Lin Yuan, and before a great lord-level expert, she had utterly no power to resist. In an instant, the purple-haired woman fell into Lin Yuan's right hand, layers upon layers of suppressive forces enveloping her. She could feel her thoughts slowing down. You want to suppress and capture me alive? The purple-haired woman immediately realized Lin Yuan's intentions. Without hesitation, she obliterated her own soul and consciousness. Lin Yuan retracted his right hand, leaving only the corpse of the purple-haired woman. Even her corpse began to disintegrate. With a mere thought, Lin Yuan summoned the fierce sun divine fire, which surged forward and burned the corpse to ashes. Just then, a deep purple tear condensed, expanding rapidly to form the figure of a woman clothed in a flowing purple gown. Which great lord are you? The woman in the purple gown was none other than Marquis Purple Dream. She had anticipated danger and left a contingency behind the purple-haired woman, enabling her incarnation to manifest in critical moments. After the gaunt man Kuang Zhan reported the developments in Qingfen City, Marquis Purple Dream realized something was amiss and immediately prepared to descend. Unfortunately, she was still one step too late. The purple-haired woman had already perished completely. The events unfolded too quickly for Marquis Purple Dream to intervene. Which great lord am I? Lin Yuan chuckled faintly. In truth, he wasn't a great lord at all. Not only was he not a great lord, he hadn't even reached the Tao realm. In terms of the essence of his existence, he aligned with the self-Tao realm of this source world. Yet Lin Yuan's foundation was far too deep, and his methods terrifyingly advanced, especially with his awakening of the fierce sun divine body. Every motion of his seemed infused with the blazing power of the fierce sun divine fire, making him indistinguishable from an actual great lord. I know all the great lords of the fierce sun ancient country who possess the fierce sun divine body, and you are not among them. Marquis Purple Dream shook her head. The number of great lords within the fierce sun ancient country, who possessed both the fierce sun divine body and great lord-level strength was exceedingly limited. A mere marquis like yourself, how could you know all the great lords of the fierce sun ancient country? Lin Yuan said dismissively. Whether it's the fierce sun ancient country or any other ancient country, there are bound to be hidden experts in the shadows. Marquis Purple Dream fell silent at Lin Yuan's words. Indeed, her lack of knowledge didn't negate Lin Yuan's existence. This time, I admit defeat on behalf of the Purple Dream domain. However, that myriad formation crystal is not mine. I ask you to return it, and I am willing to exchange other treasures for it. Marquis Purple Dream considered for a moment before speaking. Knowing that her plan had failed, her primary goal now was to minimize the losses. The myriad formation crystal was a gift from the capital. If it were lost, Marquis Purple Dream would bear the punishment, compelling her to ask for its return in exchange. Who do you think you are? A mere incarnation, yet you dare to negotiate with me? Lin Yuan's eyes blazed with fierce sun flames. He extended his right hand toward Marquis Purple Dream. As his hand reached out, it abruptly expanded, shrouding the skies and blocking out the sun. Marquis Purple Dream's expression shifted drastically as her form dissipated instantly. She was, after all, merely an incarnation, a form without substance, able to scatter or coalesce at will. Crash! The surrounding space-time abruptly contracted, forcing Marquis Purple Dream's dispersed figure to reform, compelled to confront Lin Yuan's descending palm. "I'll remember you." Marquis Purple Dream fixed her gaze on Lin Yuan before shattering beneath the force of his palm. CTH Novelier. NET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Expecting to reclaim the myriad formation crystal without a shred of sincerity? Do you take me for a fool? Lin Yuan shook his head. The myriad formation crystal's value far surpassed ordinary Great Lord-level treasures and weapons. Marquis Purple Dream had attempted to use a mere incarnation to retrieve it? Lin Yuan was no fool. Moreover, treasures like the myriad formation crystal were coveted by every ancient country. Lin Yuan could simply trade it with the Fierce Sun ancient country instead, a far more convenient and straightforward option. The myriad formation crystal? Lin Yuan turned his hand, revealing a crystalline object within which countless formations circulated faintly. From this encounter, defeating this group of Peak Dao realm infiltrators in Qingfen City, the myriad formation crystal was Lin Yuan's greatest gain, along with a collection of other treasures and secret tools. Since they dared to infiltrate Qingfen City, these experts from the Purple Dream domain were undoubtedly well prepared, even bringing a treasure as precious as the myriad formation crystal. Clearly, they didn't lack other preparations. Not far from Sky Burning Court, Feng Wangxing's figure appeared. "Junior brother, you mustn't let anything happen to you." Feng Wangxing was deeply anxious. He would rather see a Grand Array core breached than to let anything happen to Lin Yuan. Before he approached, Feng Wangxing noticed space-time coalescing in front of Sky Burning Court. A woman clad in a flowing purple gown stood quietly there. "Is that Marquis Purple Dream?" As the eldest disciple of Lord Qingfen, Feng Wangxing was naturally familiar with the great lords of opposing domains and instantly recognized her identity. "As I suspected, the target is Junior Brother." Marquis Purple Dream's appearance outside Sky Burning Court confirmed Feng Wangxing's suspicions. For a dignified great lord from another domain to appear here, the only possible target was Lin Yuan. And yet, what followed? Feng Wangxing witnessed a sight he would never forget. Before his eyes, his junior brother, standing calmly at the gates of Sky Burning Court, extended his right hand. The hand grew explosively, shrouding the heavens in ancient, primeval majesty. And Marquis Purple Dream, faced with this monstrous palm, had no means of resistance and was shattered to dust in an instant. What? Feng Wangxing stared in stunned disbelief. This was his junior brother? City Lord's mansion. Lord Qingfen sat cross-legged, his consciousness trapped in a dream woven by Marquis Purple Dream. A moment later, Lord Qingfen's aura surged, and his eyes snapped open. "Purple Dream, your dream weaving leaves much to be desired." Lord Qingfen immediately spread out his senses, scanning Qingfen City's current state. Upon confirming the safety of the 12 Grand Array cores, he turned his gaze to Marquis Purple Dream. Lord Qingfen frowned slightly. The Marquis Purple Dream he now beheld appeared distinctly unsettled, staring straight at him with an inexplicable expression. This left Lord Qingfen a bit baffled. "You suddenly attacked me, and now you're wearing this expression? Qingfen, what a clever tactic, to have prepared ahead and secretly hidden a great lord. Truly impressive, truly cunning." After speaking, Marquis Purple Dream dispersed her incarnation voluntarily. This operation had resulted in catastrophic losses for the Purple Dream domain, and she would likely face punishment from her ancient country. Clever tactic? Lord Qingfen was utterly perplexed. Prepared ahead? Hidden a great lord? How did he himself not know? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Wisdom Diary YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.